Good evening, Stunthangar fans. Welcome. I'm Rusty. This is Monday, March the 25th, 2019. And so happy Monday and happy springtime too. The warm weather's holding in there. So maybe winter's last gasp is past us. I sure do hope so. We are on live. Let's see. Let me mute the YouTube before it starts talking in the background. There we go. And got all that squared away. The links are in the usual places. Stunthangar.com, control line forums. And let's see, we've already got a visitor here that looks like Sparky. Just a second. There we go. Good evening, Sparky. And welcome everybody else. We have the chat box up and ready to go. I just put please stand by up there when I'm first getting started so I can get everything squared away, but you're welcome to come in now. For all you guys over there, we appreciate y'all hitting that super chat donation at the bottom of the chat box where the little gray block dollar sign is. That helps Sparky pay server fees, keep his real equipment in new condition, and helps keep the show online and free, hopefully forever. So welcome, come in, and we'll hang out until about midnight at least. And we've been kind of setting records going late, but we'll see how that works, and depends on how riveting our conversation is. So good evening, Sparky. What you got going on today?
I got a question for you.
There we go. Now I can.
How do you not allow people to come in until you approve them? How do you do that?
When I first open the chat box video window, I go and hit that green. No, I hit the blue camera. That's the cameraman. And there's 3 radio buttons you can select. And I click the top one as yes. And that makes people have to, they stay dark. Nobody can see them until you right click on their little frame and approve them to show in broadcast. Right there where you do present and everything else. And we can all see them when they're still grayed out, but nobody, it doesn't get recorded to YouTube. Nobody can see them like if they came in with spam or something like that.
Yeah.
But that, that little wrench in the camera and the top option is the only one I click.
Wrench in the camera on the top of this window here?
On the left side column in your video window, there's a blue camera icon with a white wrench in it.
Nope, not on mine.
From top to bottom, I've got the chat. I've got the green box with the arrow for screen share. Next is that one I'm talking about, the cameraman. And then comes the control room. And there's a toolbox at the bottom that I never use called Hangout Toolbox.
I got showcase, Q&A, and then control room. At the bottom is toolbox.
I don't know. I can make a screenshot of what I'm looking at and show it to you.
Is that when you first start the Hangout?
As soon as my camera comes on and shows my face, that's the first thing I do.
When you
start, I post the link.
When you start the Hangout.
Yeah, on the live events page, when it says go live and my camera turns on. Hang on, I got to let Dave in. And yeah, when my camera's on and I can see my face on the screen, then that's when I click that control, that cameraman control. That's what it's called. It's cameraman. Hey, Dave. Oh, you got your mic muted, Dave. You don't see what I'm looking at, do you, Sparky?
No, because I didn't start the Hangout.
Oh, well, that explains it then. Yeah. But that's what I see when I host it. We got Dave Ziegler in here with us. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, and Chris Sterner too.
I'm gonna turn your volume up a little bit. You're kind of in the background there. There we go. I got you all the way up. How are you tonight? You in your workshop?
Yeah, we're working on Chris's plane that he's building. We're building some indoor stunt stuff. So he's
Turn it up, Rusty, so and then we can turn it down.
He's all the way up, but I think you got a loose wire or something, Dave, because you got loud and then you got quiet.
okay. How's that?
It did the same thing. When you said, how's that? One word was loud and one word was quiet. Maybe it's your jack into your computer. Hey, Jack Snavely over on YouTube.
That looks like a drone he's working on.
Yeah, it looked like he's got a quadcopter, a multi-rotor on the table, now known as drones.
Can you hear me?
Barely. If it'll stay like that, I think we can work with it.
Mr. Stork's on, yeah.
Hey, Sparky.
You gotta be pretty loud. You gotta talk right to that because that's where the microphone is.
Sparky, Chris Sterner here. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Long time.
Yeah.
I took a little bit of a, well, not so much a hiatus, but I kind of fell out of it for a while, and I am now 2.5 years sober.
Great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Bet it makes you a lot more clear thinking, probably, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, so I'm back and stronger than ever. I entered my first contest last spring. I didn't go into a beginner. I started out with intermediate and took my first place.
Yeah, he won. He won intermediate at his first contest.
My first contest ever. My first pattern in a contest. So yeah, I'm back.
And he came to one of our club meetings, the first one, and we made him president.
Yeah, they suckered me into president of the Milwaukee Circle Masters.
I got a happy birthday from Tom Creasy. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, Tom says he can't hear Dave talk at all. I got my volume turned up till it's hissing in the background to be able to hear him. Is y'all's mic out in the open, not obscured by anything?
The only mic I have is on the camera. I got to get a better mic.
Okay. Yeah, I got mine's on the camera too, but some work better than others. Oh well, we'll deal with it. So we got 8 people gathering in the YouTube area over there. I'm getting a couple of happy birthdays. Appreciate that.
How old are you now? 16?
Almost 63. Maybe next year. We went to Savannah this weekend and had a good time. They got a great river walk with the river on one side where you can watch freight ships coming in and going out to and from the ocean. Those things are amazing, boy. I tell you what. And so when they'd come by, I'd get my phone out and look them up, and they're easy to find, and you can see everything but what their manifest is, but it tells how much water they draw and the dimensions of the ship. Pretty interesting. They got lots of good little bars and shops along the other side of the street. It's a great little town, but not that little. But we had a good time.
Are you guys up in Milwaukee?
Yes,
Milwaukee.
Which one of you guys is the one that I grabbed the plane and scared the shit out of?
That's me, buddy. Here. Scared the shit out of me. I thought, well, yeah, you scared the shit out of me, but at the same time I was thinking, sweet, about to get to build me a new plane.
Hey, Chris Hornaday just came in with us. How you doing, Chris?
What's up, Rusty?
Oh, not much. I keep saying your name wrong. It's Hornady, not Hornaday.
That works.
But anyway, welcome. And Greg Rodney just came in. Another happy birthday. Thanks, Greg. Greg's the one that CNC'd my Hyper Viper kit that I'm working on. And it's coming along nicely. Bob Zambelli brought me a box of stuff from Pennsylvania today. And so I got a whole box full of Brodak goods to show you when we get around to show and tell. We'll wait until some more people show up for show and tell, though.
Down? Yeah. Just every other one?
Yeah, just, you know, whatever.
How far do I put it in?
All the way.
What you working at tonight, Chris?
Me and Amanda are working on her clown. We're pinning our trailing edge down for our wing and gonna start building it up.
Ah, good.
Yeah. So she's right here next to me. Everybody say hi.
Hi.
Hey, Amanda. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So yeah, little update from me. I got ordered the Brodak 15 and got it in the other day. Went to do the break-in in it, and every time I'd prop it over, you know, in prime without it hooked to the fuel tank. Every time I hooked the fuel tank up, it would just feed fuel right into the crankcase and fill it up.
I've had new Brodaks do that too.
Yeah,
Mine happened to have loose head bolts. That was the problem with mine.
What was the problem with yours?
Loose head bolts.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, this would actually just free flow. I talked to Mike Lunky about it, and he seemed to think that it was like a gravity feed problem. Checked my fuel tank. It wasn't that. There was some trash, some chips from the machining process down in the Venturi, and that's what ended up causing it.
Ooh, that's not good. Who knows how much is in the crankcase?
Yeah. Luckily, they were too big to make it through the Venturi hole. So, got that cleaned out, and that thing, I got about 4 runs on it now. Great running little motor.
Good. Hey, Tom Creasy.
Hi, guys. Happy birthday to you, buddy.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, what are you celebrating? Your what? Your 33rd anniversary of being 30?
That's right. Yep. 33rd anniversary of being 30.
CA, the other one.
I am going to mount off the bottom of the plane tonight and get ready to paint the underside. Hey, Steve's out there in limbo.
There we go.
I seen you waving.
Hey, I got a question for you old guys. I put batteries someplace so I wouldn't forget where they're at.
They're gone.
Oh, yeah.
Battery. Now. So I always find something when I'm looking for something else. What would you think I need to look for to find batteries?
I would look in the battery area.
I did. And why I didn't put them there, I have no idea. The only one I can find is one that I use for show and tell.
They're probably in the car.
I think
maybe you put them in the refrigerator.
I don't know. You ever get the munchies? Where were you last?
I don't know what the shit. All the other ones are right where they're supposed to be, and these 4, well, 3 of them are not.
Who's got a radio or TV going in the background?
Probably me.
Probably. It always is.
Yeah.
JP says, look in your junk drawer.
Yeah, I did that. I mean, it's just crazy. And I was like, why would I put them some? But I must remember where I had them when I got the one that I showed the guy that did that composite airplane.
Oh, Train.
Yeah. When I showed him the battery and one of the other batteries, you know, the different ones I had, I weighed them and all that. So I knew where they were at then, but I just don't know where they're at now.
Can't help you there, bud.
I'll find them when I'm looking for something else.
I lost some fiberglass cloth. I had a whole pack of 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce cloth, and I couldn't find it, and I'd been wrapping Christmas presents and had a big old container of tissue and stuff. And I just knew I must have thrown it in that box with the rest of the Christmas crap and would probably find it next Christmas. But lo and behold, about July or August, I found it thumbtacked to my bulletin board out in the shop.
I got a story about that. I had a T100 Triumph that I needed a stator for, and nobody had one. So I wrote somebody in England, and they sent me the stator, and it was very expensive at the time, like $300 or whatever. And I didn't want to lose it, so I hid it in the. I didn't want anybody to steal it. I didn't want to lose it, so I hid it in the shop. To this day, never found it.
Oh no! And you know it's in there.
Damn sure hit it good, huh?
Few videos back, if you look, when I was building them electric Thunderbolts, I built the rudder, and the shop ate it. So I had to build and it was a nice one. And I didn't find it for, I don't know, about 3 months.
I remember that, you looking all over and couldn't find it, so you built another one. You finally found it though, huh?
Yep, it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm famous for doing that. I usually keep an organized shop and even stop every hour and put my tools back where they belong. But that doesn't stop me from using a tool and putting it down and then turning around and it's gone and I don't find it for 2 or 3 days.
Like the 10mm socket?
Yeah, that's a good example. Or just a pair of hemostats or something like that. Greg Rodney says if you leave them in your jeans pocket, the wife gets real pissy when they go through the washing machine. Yeah, try to clean my pants pockets out before I dump them in the basket. Behind the workbench is what Jack Snavely suggests.
Yeah, tell Rodney, hey Rodney, thanks a lot because I'm using your hinges. Or thank you for making the hinges that Sparky made up.
Yes.
The hinges Rodney put on my plane were those cloth hinges. I think they come on a roll. I'm not sure what they're made out of, but they're nice and neat. And when it's painted, I don't think you'll be able to see them. Rodney says, enjoy them. Because you're not getting any more if you lose them. He didn't say that.
Is he the CNC guy on the forum?
That's right.
Yeah,
oh, hey, Gerald Wimmer says, hello, Rusty, Sparky, and those on Stunthangar Hangout. Hope you had a good birthday, Rusty. I did. Thank you, Gerald.
I'm glad to hear Gerald didn't get hit by the New Zealand massacre.
Yeah, we're all glad of that too. He made it clear he just soon discuss modeling instead of that too. So we leave him alone about that. But can't help us being curious. But yeah, it's still in the news here too. It was.
So the stuff I have, it'll work. I'm using it in the ladder.
So who went flying this weekend? Anybody?
I went to the flying field this weekend.
Okay, that almost counts. You get a half a point for that.
Yeah, I don't know how to put them on here. I got some pictures.
Hey, Gary Sinclair's in here, our calendar maker. All y'all don't forget to download the form to fill out and send him the pictures for the calendar. He's already got a bunch of downloads. I don't know who's filled them out and sent them back, but yeah. Where's what?
The thread.
It's in the open forum, and it's called. I don't remember the exact title. Hang on, let me let somebody in here. We got. Mike Leinke's coming in. Hang on, Mike. Well, I approve you. Yeah, the thread's in the open forum, and in the title it says something about a calendar for Google Hangouts or Stunthangar Hangouts, video Hangouts. It's still on the first page. I think it hadn't moved over to page 2 because it's been bumped a couple of times. I'll bump it tomorrow if it moves to page 2.
Chris, did you fly your electric combat yet?
I haven't had time. So my stepdad was supposed to come in town next weekend, and we were going to do it, but he came up with some back problems. So hopefully this weekend I'll maybe just get out and get on the handle with it and see what it does.
Oh, that's good. Cool. Yeah, I was wondering about it.
Do that one.
How it went. And
I can't wait to see it. Our weather's kind of sucked down here in Florida. You know, we get that Florida spring weather going right now. So
yeah, I talked to my uncle today. That's what he said too.
Yeah.
Cold and rainy in the morning, and
On the second line? Okay.
So yeah, so I want to get my twister back out too, and a couple other things I want to get on the handle. We had an issue right now that's kind of also taking up time. A buddy of mine with a full-scale airplane had a runway incident the other day, so I've been helping him get his plane back together. So
okay.
Yeah.
Nobody hurt?
No, it was. I don't know if y'all saw Eufaula, Alabama, that tornado that went through that airport.
Yeah.
About a month and a half ago. That's where he was at, and he. I don't know if he hit FOD or what, but he popped a tire and he went off. He's in an RV9, so they have that free castering nose wheel, and he just shot off the side of the ramp there and hit some debris and got his prop and his landing gear and wheel pants and some leading edges and stuff like that. So we're going to be probably rebuilding some wings here soon.
Oh, you're going to have to redo the whole wings?
No, the leading edges and one wingtip. So those RVs, they actually have the fuel tanks that bolt to the leading edge. So the fuel tanks come up as part of the leading edge. And unfortunately, that's not the part that got hit. Is actually the leading edge that was riveted on the outboard of the wing. So we got to drill some rivets and take care of that.
Oh, okay. But at least you don't have to. It didn't compromise the wing to where you got to rebuild.
No, the spar looked good. We went ahead and measured out the spar. We're going to fly back up there tomorrow. It's about a 2-hour flight in my plane, but we're going to fly back up there tomorrow and mic out or dial out the prop flange and all that on the motor. Make sure it's good to go.
You take it to IMD and have them fix it.
Yeah. Where's that at?
On your base.
Oh, AMD, yeah. It'd be nice if they knew how to work on piston pounders.
If there's any AMSs there, I'm sure they can.
So what kind of plane do you have, Chris?
I got a Cessna 120.
Oh, that's right. You were saying that. You got that.
Yeah, a little 1947 120. Fun little plane. So I'm about to head up to move, so I'm going to sell it, but they're out there. They're a dime a dozen. Kind of looking at wanting to build a plane next, though. So that's going to be expensive.
Oh, yeah. It's not so much for the airplane, but once you put the avionics in it.
And I've kind of been a little bit of an avionics nerd lately, so yeah, I want the nice dyno and all that. So I'm looking at close to 17,000 just for avionics setup for it.
Yeah, I was going through some of that stuff, and it's like, man, I just can't see unloading 60 grand on an airplane, and how often I'd fly anymore. And
yeah,
I might have some Clecos for you.
I can use all the Clecos I want. You never can have enough Clecos, can you?
No.
Steve, are you still current with your GA license?
No, I got, just my physical. I'd have to get, but.
Yeah. Hey, we just got a super chat donation. We appreciate that. Thanks a lot. And Pat's out there. Pat's Place says another happy birthday. He says he saw a tomahawk in that video Sparky posted in Miskey's stash.
Hey, Rusty.
Yeah.
Move your camera down, man, because all the videos come across the bottom of my screen, and I can only see half of your.
I want to check that one for square again.
Let's see how that looks.
Was that was Sam flying combat that you posted?
What's that?
Was that you and Sam flying combat that you posted?
No, that was me and Chad Hill.
Flying combat that you posted?
that was me and Chad Hill. He's a Nashville guy. Sam shot the
Just a little bit?
video. He grabbed my phone when me and Chad were going to fly.
It's not even on the middle.
He snuck my phone and shot some video of it. And then I watched it afterwards, and I thought, well, shit, this ain't too bad. So I posted it.
I wasn't even paying attention.
Oh, okay, because at first I thought it was probably you and Sam, but I could hear his voice. And I'm like, what is he got a headset on or something?
Going to be to this side.
That was him.
Yeah, he was talking. He was talking while he was videoing the match.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
But no, that was me and Chad.
How much do I put on there?
Just
So did you buy that pipe plane some more?
It literally takes just a drop.
I did, and I got a nice story to tell when we get few more people
Grab
in
that
here.
paper towel.
Oh, okay.
Background conversations going on.
I think that's Chris talking to his wife over there.
Okay. We'll allow that. Just making sure.
We can hear all your secret wife conversations there, Chris.
Sorry about that. Trying to get this clown wing started real quick. Forgot to move it.
Is that for her to fly?
Yeah, we're building her a clown. I got my wing done, and I got a fuselage. I just cut my fuselage out right now, and then we're building her wing right now. So,
well, good deal.
Yeah.
Are you on your phone, Chris?
No, I'm on my iPad.
Well, turn it sideways.
Okay.
No vertical video.
Better?
No vertical video. Man.
There we go.
Oh, that works.
So, all right, cool. Hey, Mike,
wife
thanks for
was
that motor.
over.
I fired that thing up today, and it ran great.
The Brodak 15. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, other than that busted lug, it's a brand new motor, dude. You shouldn't have any problem with it.
I didn't prime it. I propped it twice, and it fired right up.
Okay. So did moving the tank help with the other one?
What it was, and I guess I was talking about before you got on, there was some shavings from when they drilled and tapped the Venturi that were down in there.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
yuck.
So that's it wasn't letting the needle valve seat. Once I got those out of there, the needle valve set and it fired up and it's running just fine.
Okay.
Boy, that's some lazy workmanship to leave swarf in there like that.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like your message to me saying that it just kept flooding and flooding and flooding and filling up. It just sounded like the tank was too high on the stand.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you said that, it snapped to me to go check it, and it was a little high, probably like half the diameter of the intake tube there. But yeah, the main thing
they'll just gravity feed and flood out like that.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, so I think it's a combination of that and the having some chips down in there or whatever. But yeah, once I got that cleaned out, I just soaked the Venturi in some alcohol, cleaned it out real good, and put it back in, couple props, and it fired right up. And
that one
I
fired
put
too.
4 tanks through it, really slimy. And I'm about to do a couple lean tanks, and it'll be fun.
You're gonna love that. You're gonna love that little 15. That's my favorite 15.
I had a Fox 15, and I wasn't too happy with it, so that's why I got a couple Brodaks.
Yeah, well, that's two completely different engines, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Fox 15 has as good a reputation as most of the rest of them.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's
well, I mean the Brodak is a modern engine, so they took everything they know about how to make a control line engine for 50 years and put it all into the Brodak 15. You know, it's a good motor.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Yeah, that one of Samantha's. That's what we did the clown racing with, and we ended up coming in second place. But the one thing is that in the heat race, well, all of them, one flip starts. I mean, landing, filling, hit it, it was gone. It was, everybody's like, oh my God.
And that's what you got to have in those heat races too.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to have that motor right there.
We flew the crap out of it. Now it's even faster. The big thing was they were saying that front bushing is tight on them when they're new, and it takes a while for that to really free up. And I forget who was there telling me that you just have the crank in it and spin it, and it should go around so many times. Then you know that motor's finally broke in. I never take mine apart to be able to spin it like that, but
yeah. I noticed my front bushing was a little tight on the new one I bought. The one I got from Mike, it felt really nice already, but that new one, it did feel tight, and it's worn itself in pretty well.
Yeah, it'll get better and better.
Good. I was really, once I got that one running and the one I got from Mike, both of them, I'm really happy with them. They sound great. They run great. So I'm really excited to see what they'll do.
Good deal. Well,
So,
you got it before it went to eBay, so.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mike, Will Davis told me that you wrecked your plane, that the stab broke or something like that.
Oh, damn. I was saving that for a surprise.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forget I said that.
You might as well tell now what went on.
You got it. Everybody.
I've got to go in here in about 5 or 10 minutes and shut the kids down on their electronics and make sure that they're in bed. My wife is still working, so I gotta make sure I get them shut down and put down for bedtime tonight. It's a school night. When I come back from that, I'll explain what happened and I'll show you the carnage.
Okay, I got show and tell too.
Or is it that she works this many hours all the time?
My wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, she works all the time, dude. Well, it's tax season. She's a CPA. She's in financial institutions group. She's a CPA, and her clients are banks. And this is tax season, so she's preparing tax returns for banks.
Oh, okay, because I can't do personal. A lot of times she comes home late, and I'm thinking either she's got like a mid-shift, second shift, or she puts in some horrendous hours.
Yeah. She leaves the house at 8:30 right after the kids get on the bus, and then this time of year it could be 8 o'clock when she gets home. It could be midnight when she gets home.
Wow.
That's just, she works 2,800 hours a year. That's what she puts in.
Holy cow.
2080 is a standard. 2080 is a standard 40-hour work week. My wife works 2,800 hours a year.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of hours.
Well, that's why I get to be a stay-at-home dad. I mean, we're a team. She puts in the hours and makes the money, and I take care of the kids in the house. So
that's cool. I thought she worked for some corporation.
No, she works for an accounting firm here in Nashville. It's one of the top 5 in the U.S. It's not, KPMG or Coopers and Lybrand or I forget who the other big accounting firms are, but she works for Crow is who she works for. She works for Crow. They're in the top 5 in the U.S.
Wow.
She works hard for this family. Sure.
Yeah, my wife's an accountant too, but she's not a CPA. She's a loan administrator.
Okay, but yeah, and my wife's in a specialized area. Like I said, her clients are banks. She's in financial institutions. That's who she does tax returns for. Her biggest client is $8 billion a year.
Wow.
That's what she works on. That kind of stuff. It's all corporate accounting. So, but the rest of the year, other than tax season, the rest of the year she has pretty flexible hours, and she's compensated well with vacation and stuff like that, and we use it. We just, from January to April, she's kind of a no-show. We don't get to see her a lot because she's working a lot and she travels a lot. She's gone, to client locations. She travels a lot during this time of year. So it's hard on me and the kids because we don't see her much. But the rest of the year, we get to take advantage of the relaxed hours and the vacations and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's just that's the job, That's the job.
Everything is a compromise.
It is,
That's like, all of our construction plumbers and stuff like that. I was talking to one of the guys, and he already had 6 months into the year, he had 1,000 hours of overtime. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But he'd already made $140,000.
There's a lot of jobs where people work off hours or a lot of weekends or 12, 14-hour days, but it pays off in other areas. You get time off later or reduced hours or you just make that money while you can. You got to make it while it's there.
Yeah, that's what he said. His wife's really good, takes care of the kids. They don't get to see him much, but they already had, this was last year, it said they had their house half paid for after just 2 years of owning it.
Yeah.
So that's what, he's putting all the hours in, get the house paid for, and then go from there and have a more easy life.
Yeah, it's not easy being married to an accountant, and Rusty can probably testify to this because every nickel we spend is on a spreadsheet somewhere, and there's a budget.
You can't sneak anything in.
I hate the budget, but I like the budget too. At the same time, I bitch about the budget all the time, but I like it because it's there. And in January we sit down and we go over the expenses that we think we're going to have for the year. She asked me, are you going to need tires for the truck? Is my car going to need tires? How much do we need for oil changes this year? Are you going to need a new weed whacker this year? Are you going to need a new lawnmower this year? What are we going to need throughout the year? And I tell her, and then she files that money in a column. And then, is the washing machine going to shit out on us? And if it happens, I can just go get one or pay a repair, whatever, because it's budgeted, But when I want some frivolous money, I gotta beg, borrow, and steal for it.
Yeah, hard to justify money for toy airplanes, but not really either because it's contributing a lot to you and Sam's life. So
when you buy that $800 dryer, you find one on sale for $600, and then you get that $200 for model airplanes.
Well, the way I got to do that is I got to go withdraw the money in cash to buy the new dryer and then pocket the cash.
Yeah, there you go.
Go put the dryer on the credit card because then she'll know,
Yeah,
there's ways around the budget for sure, man. You just do the cash withdrawal and say, yeah, baby, the new dryer cost $800. I don't really do that, but
no, because you got to have receipts too.
We'll get back on the model airplane stuff here in a minute, but I got to give props to my wife this year because I get a stipend basically for myself, and that's what I've been paying for. That's how I pay for me and Sam to go to contests and stuff like that. It's out of my allowance, I guess you would say. Well, I went a little over last year with all the stuff we did. So this year I asked my wife for some help for contests. I says, I spent this much money for me and Sam to go to the Nets, to go to Brodax, and to do all the other both Huntersville contests, both Detroit contests, and Paducah. I said, could we carve out a little bit of money so that it'll relieve the burden on me for going to contests? And she did. She made a little budget for me and Sam, a contest budget to kind of defray the cost of what I was paying out of my own pocket to go to contests. So
cool.
Props to my
good.
wife.
Smart management.
She carved out a little bit of money to make it easier for Sam and I to hit these contests.
I can't believe that her being an accountant, she hasn't set you up in some kind of a model business where you can make something at home or whatever and take to these contests and you can write them off. And
who has time for that, man? Dude, between school, gymnastics, scouts, and I volunteer at school a couple times a week. I go into my kids' elementary school. I'm a tier 3 volunteer. I had to get an FBI background check to do that, but I go to the public school and I
pass.
Of course I pass. But I give them like 5 hours a week of my time, man, where I go to Sam's classroom and help the teacher out, and then I go to Emma's class and help out. I try they need help, and I've got a little bit of time to do it, so I try to help out in the school when I can. I go in there and work one-on-one with the kids, helping them read and math and just whatever they need. Just go in there and trying. That's, you know, we believe in Bethesda. This is my kid's school. We believe in Bethesda. So, I mean, I'm active with the PTO and all that, and because I'm a woman, basically. You
Yeah.
know? I'm a stay-at-home mom.
You're a model American housekeeper,
You know,
homemaker.
well,
Excuse me, a model American homemaker.
a lot of the stay-at-home moms volunteer and help out in the school, and I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I try to be active and help out there because I can, you know.
Wow.
So, and believe me, I'll tell you this: I don't think either one of my kids are rocket scientists, but when I go in there and help out in class, and I see some of the other kids, my kids are freaking geniuses, man.
Well, what it is that it's how much time you put in with your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. If you're into it, they're into it, and they do better when they're expected to do better, and things are set up to where, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it's the same thing with Samantha. Electronics, they went off at a certain time, and I mean, it was bang bang, and she got used to it. You know, there's a lot of freedom within walls.
There are some buck wild kids in the school system that I can tell that their parents haven't spent much time teaching them how to act and how to behave, and even just like reading. The second grade students, some of them can read as well as you and me, and some of them just they can't even get through simple words in a book, and it's because their parents haven't taught them anything at home, you know.
But Samantha was the only kindergartner who started kindergarten knowing how to tie her shoes. I about fell over. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
the teachers in our school won't tie kids' shoes. They won't do it. They say if your kids can't tie their own shoes,
Get
Put
him
them in Velcro. Put them in Velcro if they can't tie their shoes, I guess.
yeah, because the teacher will be tying shoes all day long. Okay, enough about school. Get back on to modeling. I'm sorry.
Tom Creasy looks busy back there in the shop. What you doing, Tom? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
What you working on? I saw you with the Stuka down a minute ago.
No, this is the new Hurricane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I saw.
with the $1.38 paint job.
What's that?
With the $1.38 paint job.
No, it cost me $1. Exactly $1
For the Hurricane, $1.
Yeah, $1 for the paint.
Damn, you're getting it down. Pretty soon you'll have it 50 cents.
That's only with one color. I could probably do that, and the rest decals. But each color is 50 cents.
So what you doing now? Masking off for another color?
Yeah, I'm gonna paint the whole underside of the aircraft. I don't know. I used to work on F4s, and the color that's underneath the belly of the F4, kind of like a white with a gray in it.
Okay.
That's what the underside is going to be like.
Paint it light blue.
Well, I have this as a light blue right here. See that one there?
Yeah, it doesn't look blue on camera, but
well, it's pretty blue. And I'm just thinking maybe the blue might be too much. I really haven't decided yet or not.
Do you top coat those with something?
Yeah. I lock everything in with non-tautening clear dope. After I get done with everything, I spray over the whole thing with at least 2 coats. I usually go 4 coats, 4 thin coats.
Is that non-tautening butyrate?
Yeah. Yeah, Randolph.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I can I can use masking tape and tape off anything I want and pull the tape off, and the paint stays on the surface. I can tell when I sand my colors, you know, that really sticks to the balsa.
That's water based.
Yeah, I actually take a DuPont thinner in a acrylic water base and mix it together.
Amazing.
I mean, it works for me. I mean, it's not easy. I prefer. I'd love to have dope, to tell you the truth.
For
Oh
the
my
blue
God.
underside, I love the sky blue. That's monocoat. It's not paint. But on the bottom of the RFP40, the bottom side of the wing is sky blue, while the top is camo. But that, I always thought that was a nice combination. And I guess that's for warplanes. So you look up at the blue sky and you can't see the planes.
Well, I Googled, you know, Google Images hurricanes, and never did see the light blue underneath. So I was like, well, because I was going to put light blue. I have another blue here. It's a cotton blue. It's a really darker blue than the China blue.
I got some dope here that I got a box of stuff that brought me back from Pennsylvania this week, and I've been looking for cobalt blue for my Cardinal, and I couldn't find that. So let's see,
I mean,
got
that's something at the beginner's nats, you know, a walk around, you know, is there's you never see any paint, you never see any dope.
I got some colors. I hoped maybe I could combine and get the kind of blue I wanted. I've got some. I got some Miami blue, and then I've got
That's fairly
Piper blue. I'm not sure what the Piper blue looks like. Actually, I can't remember, but I picked it off their color chart in the catalog. Actually, I had to look it up, and then I went ahead and just filled out with some insignia white and some jet black.
Yeah.
Canopy blue.
What'd you say?
That's blue there.
That's canopy blue.
Yeah. Well, I've seen the Brodak ARF P40. Isn't it got a sky blue underneath?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I think that looks good.
The P40's got kind of a sky blue on the bottom of the wing.
Yeah, and I got a bunch of half A props so that I could have something.
A bottom of a hurricane sky blue, though.
I don't know about that. Seems like a logical color to paint a warplane.
You might look up with the hurricane, and then look up like the blueprints, and sometimes they'll come with a paint scheme on them and tell you what was on the bottom and stuff like that.
Well, Mike Lonky, let's see the carnage and tell us the story.
Yeah, we waited long enough.
Really? Already? Okay, so weekend before last, took the silver SV22 out with the PA65, got 4 flights with it. Remember we talked about that? It was awesome. I was saying how great it was. Saturday, Samuel and I drove down to the Coffee Airfoilers, which is in Tullahoma, Tennessee. It's about 55 miles south of us. And we got out there with Ken Herrick, who I met through the Facebook Control Line Flying group. It's an RC field, but they have 2 grass circles out there, beautiful grass circles. He says quite a few guys fly control line out there. So he invited us down to go fly with him. And apparently the history on this field, it's on Arnold Air Force Base. One of the circles used to be paved. It was an asphalt circle. And I guess they had some pretty big contests there back in the 60s and 70s. The paved circle's not there anymore. It's all been grown over and grass is going through it. Kind of just looks like gravel now, but you can see the remnants of it through the grass. But it's a great RC club, and we're going to join it. We're going to join it just for the fact that they have the 2 control line circles there, and it's the same distance I would drive to fly with the Nashville guys who fly in Springfield. So we're going to do that. But
25 miles, you said?
No, it's 55 miles.
Oh, 55. Yeah, that's a good drive.
50, it is, but I mean, we drive 60 miles to go to Springfield to fly at my buddy Walt's place, and that's where all the other Nashville control line guys are. They're just sport flyers. There's like 5 of us that fly at my buddy Walt's place in Springfield. It's over an hour away, and this Coffee Airfoilers is less than an hour away for me from where I live. So I think that's where we're going to be doing most of our control line flying.
Hey, Mike, how far away is Chattanooga from you?
Chatty's under 2 hours.
Okay. Next time I'm back home, I'll mow our circle down and let you know. We'll get together and fly up there.
Yeah, I can be in Chatty in like an hour and 40 minutes if there's no real bad traffic, because it's only like 130 miles.
Yeah, our circle is just about maybe 10 minutes south of Chattanooga.
South of Chatty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just on the Georgia state line.
Gotcha.
Where is this Air Force base? Is it close to the Alabama state line, or?
Well, no, it's in Tullahoma, Tennessee. It's called Arnold Air Force Base. It's south and east of
We need another spark. Get your other spark.
Okay.
Right there under you.
Whistle?
No, that's leading
so
edge.
far south
Is that it?
Alabama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, so you're headed towards towards Chattanooga.
Oh, this one.
Well, it's actually kind of on the way to Chattanooga, because you take 24 to go to Chattanooga from Nashville, and Tullahoma is off of 24. Correct.
Oh.
It's off of 24. Yeah. So, anywho, Sam and I went out there, and my buddy Chad Hill, who's a Nashville combat guy, he joined us, and we were flying with Ken Herrick, who's the club guy. We flew a little bit. Sam flew a couple of his stunt planes, and I got out the SV-22.
What are you doing?
First flight. Engine's running great. It's flying awesome, just like it was last weekend.
Pressure on down in
I
there.
complete the reverse wing over.
Stay square.
Came out inverted, and then I came back over the top to come out to level flight. And right when I did the corner to come to level flight, the entire right half of the stabilizer and the elevator departed the airplane. The whole outboard side of the elevator and stabilizer broke off.
Oh, God.
Just gone. I mean, I pulled out at, I was
does it need to be?
conservative. I probably pulled out at
Really?
7 or 8 feet, because I'm
Sometimes
still
if you
new
grab
on
it,
the
you kind of
airplane. So I
lift it
pulled out
back
high,
a little bit.
and I saw something flutter away, and I was like, shit, I think I just lost the elevator. And I did a little control check, and it wasn't wanting to do anything. And I could see the elevator laying in the grass. I could see it. The whole thing was laying in the grass, the stab and the elevator. So I just flew flat and level as long as I could. Now, you got to understand, this was right after they're coming out of the reverse wing over. So I had a full tank of gas on this damn thing, man, right?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Full. And all I did was fly like 6 feet off the ground for as long as I could, which turned out to be about 6.5 minutes.
About this last one.
And then the plane
We'll pop it in after we get this
kind of
fixed.
doing this a little bit, and the inboard half of the elevator
So just
kind of wobbled, and the
let
elevator
me hold
broke
it down.
off,
It's
got
pressure while you
unhinged,
drop it.
and the airplane went and
Like
just
it's hot.
augered in.
Just on the back. Yeah.
The
Perfect.
worst part of it was when I went to siphon the fuel out of it. There was literally like a half ounce of fuel in the tank. I was this close to running the tank out when it crashed. I was that close to running the tank out when it crashed. But of course, it took out the 3-bladed prop. It put a big ding in the spinner, and most of the cowl is gone. And then, but the landing gear stayed on, which was nice. Here, I'll show you what Let me get this flipped around. It's hanging on the ceiling, but you ought to be able to see it pretty good. So that's what's.
So
Oh man.
That's the tail
you
end.
blow
So
him
the
out like
outboard,
that?
Mhm.
Does
the
absolutely
outboard side
Because
just
what
left.
causes
It
CA to
was on,
dry and activate
and then
is the
that's
left
what
brush.
caused the airplane to crash.
Well, I
is
wasn't
when the
trying to dry it.
became
I was
unhinged.
trying to get the
So,
smoke
That's what
yeah,
crashed
not to
the
get
airplane.
near
So
us.
did your
It was,
hinges
it
pull
was
out
flying
then?
okay.
knowledge I know.
It
Not
was
much
flying
knowledge.
I'm
okay
sorry.
until those hinges let loose right there. And if I can get up to the front here, see it ripped off all of the cowl.
Oh, so me blowing on it, it's fine.
But it didn't break the wing. It didn't take the gear off. It's you know, I mean, it went in pretty straight, just kind of flat. Because I was only 6 feet off the ground. I kept it low once the elevator broke off. I kept it low so it didn't crash from real high up. I think it's repairable. It is repairable. I mean, I'm gonna have to get in there and fix all that, but that won't be anything that happens this season.
Now was it oil soaked at all?
Say again?
Was the elevator oil soaked?
Hang on. I'll show it to you.
I'm just wondering why it broke.
It didn't.
While you're
Well,
getting it,
at
I'll
some
give you a
time,
YouTube update.
a
We got
previous owner
Or
of the airplane had gone in there and done some adjustments to it. So they actually hacked into the side of the fuselage to do some adjustments. But there's the elevator to the left. See, and it's still hinged together. And this just broke completely off. And I don't know if you can see that, but it looks to me like it broke right at the freaking glue joint, man.
I can tell you why it broke.
Okay, go ahead, Sparky.
It was built in two halves with no center spar, no compression spar.
Okay.
So it broke right in the butt joints, it looks like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right there in that butt joint.
Right in the center.
Clean. Yep. Yep. It just, I mean, that's the top half of the elevator, and it just went, it was gone, and the other half was flopping around there for a while, and then the hinges let go on the other half.
I can't tell you guys enough how many G's, how much loading is on these wings. You got to use engineering to keep them together. You can't just, glue a piece on and say, well, that's good enough. I know you didn't build it, but you got to pay attention when you're putting this stuff together to make sure it's not going to break in the center or whatever.
Yeah. Well, lesson learned. I mean, I'm not going to deny it, man. It stung a little bit to crash this thing. It definitely stung a little.
Well,
what hurt the most?
What you got to do really is build a new elevator for it and a cowl.
Yeah, I do.
Back,
I mean,
back in the air.
We're almost into April right now, so it's 4 weeks till Huntersville and contest season starts. None of that's going to happen. I'll grab other airplanes. And
here's how you do it, right? Take a saw and saw the other side off right next to the fuselage, and then block sand both sides of the fuselage flat. Then take a razor knife and cut exactly around the stabilizer. So you cutting out the center section.
Okay.
Then cut a door down where the horn is, so you can gain access where the horn goes. And then out of a solid piece of wood, 3/8. I don't know how. I can't see how thick that stab is. 3/8 or half. Airfoil the stab, the length of the stab, and finish it. Slide it into that hole, and hook the controls up with your elevators on it. And then set it on the workbench, and then glue it while it's on the workbench, so you can get the stab lined up.
Okay.
Sight down it. But that's how I would fix it. I would slide the stab in. Put the horn in first. Might even be able to use the same horn, and then slide the stab into that hole that you cut after you cut the stab off.
Right, and then hinge it afterwards.
Right. It won't take long to fix. Maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, well, 2 hours for you, Sparky. Not for me.
Is the covering on the wing torn up? It looked like it had some torn silk span.
No, that was actually a patch from a previous crash. There's no holes in the wing.
Oh, good.
Holes in the wing or anything.
Yeah.
And I've stressed the wing a little bit. There doesn't seem to be any damage to the wing, and the motor mount, all that stuff is still all solid. It was just the cowl that screws on the bottom. The bottom part of the cowl is in about 4 pieces.
Well, the good thing is it wasn't oil soaked, so that means you can repair it. If it was broke because it was oil soaked,
no, Sparky's right. It broke right
at the butt.
That front of that stab was in 2 pieces, and it broke right there. It just, and I mean, the plane I think was over 15 years old.
Right there.
There's none of that in there, Sparky. There's no glass or anything joining it together.
This is a Bob Giske elevator off his Nobler.
Hey, will that fit in my?
Let's see it again, Sparky. Man? Oh, okay.
You see how Bob he even built the ribs up. These are not solid ribs; they're built up. Pretty amazing.
Pretty cool.
I took it apart just so I could see how he did it.
You should build a Giske Nobler and put that in there.
No.
Have the tail, a tail from Bob Giske.
I've got a green box Nobler in the shop that's old and needs refinishing, rebuilding. Really, is the green box is not a Giske Nobler though, is it?
No. Build a new one. Don't even bother with that green box Nobler. I'll guarantee it's heavy.
Yeah. This is just some old guys that I ended up with somehow, and I may never get to it, but I know there's so many iterations of the Nobler, I wasn't sure which one I had. We got a visitor we hadn't seen in a long time, Jorge Gonzalez from Argentina. Is that right, Jorge? He's on YouTube. So, but anyway, just wanted to give a shout out. Hey, hello, Jorge. Glad to see you back. Hadn't seen you in almost a year now.
Bienvenidos.
Hey, Jorge.
So, what's the difference between a Giske Nobler and a regular Nobler?
One pencil length, one pencil width.
Oh, the width of the fuselage?
Bob Giske took the green box Nobler and took a pencil and traced around the ribs. So it's one pencil width thicker.
Oh, okay. A little thicker wing.
The fuselage from Top Light had a molded top and bottom block on it.
Well, at least I didn't get the airplane in because of pilot error. I was happy that if I had to break it, it was because of structural failure, I guess.
Yeah.
You still got one more, right?
I do, and the other one's the better one, Robert. The other one is the lighter one, but it'll have a 61 in it instead of a 65 because that's what it was built for. So I haven't finished breaking that motor in yet. The 61 I have only has about 6 tanks of fuel through it right now.
Put the 65 in and it's more power, same bolt pattern.
Well, but the tank in the airplane is smaller than the one that was in the silver one. It doesn't have a tank big enough for a 65. That's the issue.
Leonard Burrell says he built a Brodak Nobler this year, and 5 pounds of balsa and 3 pounds carved onto the floor.
Oh yeah. Hey, what's up, Len?
That's a lot of savings.
Mike, what's the difference in tank size?
Half ounce.
Yeah, I haven't measured the tank capacity on either of them, but I was told when I bought the airplanes that the silver one had a tank big enough for a 65. The yellow one had a tank big enough for a 61. And you couldn't put a 65 in the 61 airplane because it wouldn't have enough fuel.
Yeah, Will. You know how to fix that? You take
I don't.
you take this denatured alcohol or Coleman fuel and add it to your fuel. Run 5%. It'll run long enough.
Okay. Well, that's the other thing. The runs I was getting on the 65 when I flew it last weekend and got 4 flights on it with a full tank of gas, I was getting 7.5 minutes.
Yeah. You only need 7.
Right. But I'm just saying that's what I was getting on the plane. The crashed airplane was running 7.5 minutes with a full tank of fuel.
Yeah, so you'd probably still be able to get the.
No, I really need 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
We always shoot for 5 3/4 or 6. I mean, and that still gives you, you can put in 4 or 5 extra laps if you want to.
Though I don't think the pipe for the 65 will fit in the airplane for the 61 because just looking at them, the pipe channel for the 61 ends pretty much even with the flaps, and the pipe in the 65 goes at least 3 inches beyond the flaps. Here, I'll show you. They're hanging, and you'll be able to see it pretty easy.
Lynn sends his condolences about your plane, Mike.
Yeah, that's okay.
Usually, pipe lengths are usually within like a half an inch.
Well, look,
that's
the pipe channel on the 65 right there. You can see it. And then here's the pipe channel for the 61. See where it ends? Right at the flaps.
Yeah.
And then the 65 goes
beyond
the
flap.
Have you measured from the glow plug to the end of the pipe?
Well, I did on the 65 because I had to buy the pipe for it, so I measured it and cut it where Randy said to cut it. That one came with a pipe that, with the header in the 61, fits perfectly. Fits right in there.
Oh, okay.
So I'm new to the piped engine shit, but I'm pretty sure that motor and that pipe is not going to fit in that space.
When you shorten the pipe up, that means your RPMs go up, so you have to put less pitch in the prop.
Okay.
You can run slower RPMs with a longer pipe. So like the 75s run a 19.5-inch pipe, and I run about 82 to 8,500. But if I want to run it at 10,000, I could shorten the pipe up and run it with less pitch.
Okay. See, those are all the nuances that I don't know yet and I haven't learned yet. I'm trying to stuff engines and pipes in the 2 airplanes I bought and set them up the way they were set up when they were built.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got the yellow one. It's a backup. Like I said, it stung a little bit to break. I was more pissed off about breaking that 3-bladed prop and dinging the hell out of that spinner than the airplane.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed about not being able to use it as your flagship contest plane this year, too.
Well, that wasn't going to be the flagship contest airplane because that was the pig of the 2. That was the heavy one. The yellow one is a much better airplane. It's lighter. The yellow one is newer and lighter.
Yeah.
So the silver one was just going to be, to me, starting to fly piped airplanes.
Your test bed, yeah.
All along, the yellow one was going to be the contest plane. So, God, I hope nothing falls off that one.
Hey, you need to get a hold of Dick and get that damn SV22 from him.
Yeah, or maybe Sparky will take pity on me and make me a deal on one of his airplanes that I've got a 61, a 65, and a 75, Sparky. So I know all your airplanes are for sale.
Just get an ARC SV22 from Brodak. Make a few changes. Put it together.
Yeah. That's a definite possibility.
Yeah, that 22, you know, that Dick has all up weighs 68 or 69 ounces. That's heavy.
It's not heavy for that airplane.
No?
No, most of the Nats airplanes are in the 70s. It's heavy for me. I don't like it that heavy, but the guy, you know, like Brett Buck and them guys, their airplanes are, you know, close to 70. And
hold on a second. Hey, babe.
let me see here.
I should have bought that airplane that Steve is talking about. Mark Weiss was selling that at Brodak's for so much. Beautiful.
I just happen to have the specs to everybody here. Open IC.
Think about it, was that?
Banjock's airplane weighs 66 ounces. Derek Berry's was 70 ounces. Dixon was 66. Fitzgerald is 65. Goff is 66. Jim Lee 75. Gene Martin 70. Bob McDonald 72. Mike McHenry 66. Frank McMillan 70. Steve Millette 66. Steve Moon 68. Now you got to remember, these are all numbers that they put down, so you got to add 10% to that, so they're heavier than this. My airplane this year at the Nats weighed 57.
Right.
I'm the lightest airplane of the bunch.
That was Steve Millet.
Yeah. Eric Taylor 64. Dennis Vandeker 60. I can't see that. 61. It says.
Okay.
Leonard just finished an SV11 for a practice play.
I don't know.
Arf.
It's the I'll look for SV11 and see what they weighed.
I got an SV11 on the table now.
There we go. SV11, Gene Martin, 70 ounces.
Wow.
Well, if that's the case, Mike, talk to Dick.
Yeah, I'll see what he says. Hey,
64.
Sparky, just for reference, that yellow one I was showing on the ceiling, that one weighs 50 ounces without a motor, because I have weighed it.
So that's 64.
64? Okay.
Yeah.
64, 65, somewhere in there, because you got the motor and the prop and the there, so.
Okay. Is that a good weight for that airplane with a 61 on it?
Yeah, you're looking at 6 ounces, 6 to 8 ounces lighter than a lot of these ones. So yeah, that's gonna be a damn good airplane for you.
Hey, can I ask you guys about an SB11?
Yeah.
I've got a lost foam and I'm building out of scratch. It's going to be my first 60 size aircraft, so I'm building bigger now. So instead of 16th inch ribs, should I go 16th or go 332?
16th inch ribs. I use 332nd sheeting, but 16th inch ribs.
Okay, all right. Even my my trailing edge strip should be 332, and my leading edge should be 332.
That's what I do, but I mean, most guys build with 16. But I use 332nd, so you got some sanding room.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, another thing is, you guys got any? I know several, a couple of them, but just wanting to refresh my memory of putting decals on, like positioning them. Did someone say anything about spraying like a Windex on them so you can move them around?
That's what I do.
But I don't know what other people use.
That's what I do.
Just spray a Windex on there, and you can take that vinyl decal and move it where you want.
Just a little spritz, yeah. Then put it on and slide it around and squeegee it out when you get it where you want it.
All right. I'm used to taking tape and marking them and everything, you know, and just putting them on.
It's easier. It's easier. And then you be sure and let it dry for a while because it takes a while to make sure all the moisture's out before you clear coat over it.
Yeah. Well, I at least minimum a week before I put any clear coat after I put color paint on, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Bobby. Thanks.
As far as the weights go, you got to remember, I'm out of the norm. I'm looking to build lighter and lighter and lighter, and most guys aren't. So if you're SV11 or SV22s in the 70-ounce range, they'll fly, you know, decent. I've seen them fly 80 ounces. I don't like them because I'm a small guy, and when the wind comes up, they'll drag me around the circle. But
Yeah, I'm familiar with that problem myself.
Yeah. I don't know. I put a belly on. I put a little weight on. Maybe a little ballast weight. Maybe that'll help me.
Well, when I went to the doctor for my ear, they put me on the scale. I weigh 176 pounds. Now, that is with my boots, so it'll take 10 off. But that's 16 pounds more than I was. Yeah.
You don't wear 10-pound boots, man.
Yeah, they got to be 10 pounds.
No way. You got elf boots, man. They're like 3 pounds. Man.
Yeah.
Hey, if I got some boots like yours, I'd weigh 135 pounds.
Let's see what they weigh. I'm kind of interested. Well, 176 pounds is what man, I'm fat.
Wow. I'm pushing the scale a little over 215.
Yeah, well, you can probably fly a 70-ounce plane.
Yeah, they're cool. I'll be good then.
That 72-ounce Magnum I flew used to walk me like a dog, and that's what happened to it. I stepped into it one day on a pullout on a windy day because it just pulled me off the circle and it pancaked.
What's one way?
I'm looking here.
10-pound boots. That I'm calling bullshit on that, man.
No, they weigh 4 pounds.
Each.
I was gonna say, if you're wearing 5 pounds on each foot every day, your calves would be as big as like
It'd be like that commercial on Liberty, right?
Weightlifter.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Yeah,
liberty.
that guy with the bicycle guy.
Oh yeah, with the big calves, custom built calves.
Now, my favorite commercial out there is now is when they're drilling and they hit ice cream.
Oh yeah, we got sprinkles.
And they hit sprinkles.
So
Leonard's going to weigh his now.
Your all up weight is higher now because your boots only weigh 4 pounds, not 10 pounds. You're a little chubbier than you thought you were.
That's right.
Yeah.
Leonard's going to weigh his boots now.
Steady 260, man, for like the last 15 years, man. I can't lose it, and I don't gain it, but I don't lose it. But being 6'2" helps. And I'll tell you, I was glad I had it flying that SV-22 last weekend. That they pull a bunch, man. Those big PA ships, they pull quite a bit. I mean, not quite as much as like a Nelson 36 on a fast combat plane, but definitely they pull more than any other stunt plane I've ever flown in my life.
They don't pull as much as your jet.
No, not as much as the jet, but I'm only flying the jet for a minute and a half, Sparky. You know, anybody can hang on to that for a minute and a half.
Back on your heels, yeah.
Do like Banjak when he flies his stunt jet. That thing really pulls. And actually, that's not the one that really pulls. His big flight streak.
Giant
really
flight streak, yeah.
I wonder how many pounds is on that when he's going around.
A bunch. He can lean back, way back.
Yeah.
It's got a Briggs and Stratton on it for an engine.
Especially when he gets on the throttle, but he's got a throttle control, so he can he changes it through depending on what he's flying.
Oh yeah.
You know, he adds power and takes power off. I want to see Len Bechtold fly his giant Ringmaster, man.
That one was a triple tree last time I was out there.
No, he's got one even bigger than that. He had it at Brodax last year.
Really?
The motor wasn't even on it yet. He hadn't even maidened it. I want to say it was, oh Christ, it was like 1,200 squares or something like that.
Is that the one where there's a picture of Sam holding it?
That's the one Sam is holding, yes. Len, he never did fly it at Brodax. Did he fly that one at Triple Tree?
I don't know. There was, I think it was that one that was in the pit line, but I didn't see it fly.
Because he's got like a 900. He's got a 900.
There's a 100cc engine on his.
Yeah. Well, Len's got a 900. Rusty, he flies that in beginner stunt. Len Bechtold flies his 900 in beginner stunt.
Holy crap.
So the 900 is the one that he's been flying a bunch. But this other one was Steve, did you see it? Wasn't it like 12 or 1,300?
I forget what it was, and I forget what engine he's going to put on it. I don't know if it was a Super Tiger 3500 or I know that's what Banjak got on his, that great big ass. But maybe there's something, you know, bigger than that up there that he'll put on.
I thought he had a Kawasaki 100 on his.
I thought Len had an OS 120 on his.
Who's that?
I thought it was an OS 120 is what Len had on it.
Oh, no kidding.
It was glow, too. It was a glow engine. Well, it wasn't gas. It was a glow engine.
Yeah, I don't know how much that thing weighs. I mean, OS 120 would probably pull an 8-pound airplane vertical. I mean, they do it in pattern, but I don't know then how much you got to knock off for the lines and the drag there and everything else.
Well, and he didn't have a throttle on it either.
No, no kidding.
No, he wasn't throttling that thing. It had a Venturi and a needle on it. There was no throttle on it.
He could be a handful.
There was no way to, because that's how he flies the 8 or 900 Ringmaster. I think that's got like a 90 on it or something.
Figure an OS 120 is about the same amount of power as a 60 size piped airplane. So basically that airplane is going to have about the same power as your other SV22.
Here comes Ryan. Let me let him in.
As long as we're talking about engines.
There you
anybody
go.
Buy a
Hey, Trey.
Como 51?
What is it?
It's a Como 51. Look at the compression on this thing, man.
That's a Super Tiger. Como is Super Tiger.
There's a plug in there. Look at this.
The ring is stuck in it.
Or it's got a Dykes ring.
That's got a.
Well, it came out of that Astrohawk. Remember I showed you the Astrohawk we bought for Sam at the RC swap meet?
Yeah.
That was the engine that was in it. I finally started going through this thing, and all the servos and the fuse work. They're fine. This one is roached for the ailerons. I got to put a new servo in that. But I thought I could clean the engine up and maybe get it running for Sam to fly some RC. But that engine is toast, man.
I'd pull the piston out of it and make sure if that's been set in a long time, that ring is probably stuck in the land. And if you free that up, your compression will come back.
I gotta just put some oil in it. Put some oil in the exhaust port. Spin it around; it'll pick up compression.
I've already done that. I've done it a bunch of times already, and there's just nothing there. I think it's roached. What I was gonna do because I don't think I can find something with the same bolt pattern. I'm going to whack off everything north of here and put a plywood firewall on it and just use a Dave Brown mount and try to put a 46 or something in there for them. You know?
Yeah, I'd pull the head off and look to see what the cylinder looks like and stuff. But you can get a Bowman ring, and it should come right back.
Man, I don't know if it's worth the hassle, man, when I can get a $30 eBay 46 for it and just use a Dave Brown glass mount on it. You know?
Basically, if you found an older Super Tiger, the ones that say, what do they say, Saturn, or it starts with an S.
Saturno.
Huh?
Saturno.
Yeah. They'll have the same bolt pattern.
That's a Chinese Super Tiger is all that is.
Okay. Yeah, it's a Como 51. I mean,
Como was
abused. The carb still works and everything, and I flushed all that out. The throttle body on it moves and everything, but it has zero zilch compression. But I mean, we paid $20 for the airplane with the motor and all the servos in it. So
Leonard says the Como 51 is a good motor. He's used one for years, and he weighed his SV11 while he was away, and he came back and said with Rojet 67, the fuse needs paint and silk span now, but it comes out at 57.5 ounces. And Tryan's here. Good evening, Tryan. How are you?
Good. Happy birthday, Rusty.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. I hadn't looked at the forums. I guess I got some happy birthday threads I need to respond to out there.
I just found out because I was watching a little bit on YouTube at the beginning of the meeting. So I'm keeping an eye on meetings once in a while. So that's my story.
Yeah,
and I also know some person on a forum. I think he flew his SV finally.
Yeah, we heard about that.
Yeah, it took him forever. Now he's spoiled.
First day out went well. Second day out didn't go so well.
You talking about me, Tryan?
Nah.
Hey, I didn't build it, man. I didn't build it. I was just.
It doesn't matter, It's what I'm saying. Like having a consistent plane with a good running motor can only push you forward. If you're fighting the plane all the time, you cannot learn, cannot make progress.
Yeah,
that's my idea.
I won't be fighting that airplane anymore. I'm going to move on to the next one. So.
Hey, we got something for Mike from Tim Redelman. He says, put it on a test stand and run it on synthetic. Use an electric starter to get it started, and he says it'll probably run great.
You need to start taking that damn.
The old Como? I doubt it, man. Listen, this thing is shot, man. It's shot. There's nothing there. There is nothing.
I have a story about that.
It might be worth a disassembly, but really, it's just going to be. I can put a 46 on that Astro Hog for Sam because he had some big milestones too on Sunday. Not only did we go fly combat on Saturday, and Sam and I flew probably 6 or 7 combat matches on Saturday, in addition to him flying a bunch of stunt flights. But on Sunday, we went to our regular RC field, and we took the Eagle 63 trainer out there, the 46 size trainer, and Sam did his very first solo takeoffs, solo landings, and first goes. And he had his first engine out with the RC plane. He killed it. He did. I'm not kidding you. Once he did his first takeoff and landing, he probably did 15 more that day. He would just take off, go around the patch, come in and land, take off, go around.
It has as much compression as this.
If I don't drink that, I won't go.
Oh, gee, Sparky, that thing's no good. Throw it away.
Yeah, no compression on that thing.
That's right.
Come on.
Yeah, you know how to get in there.
So
You know what?
anyway, Sam is excelling in RC as well. He's flying control line pretty kick ass now, and he's soloed on an RC plane. So we're looking for better, faster stuff for that. And I can attribute all of that to the simulator. He used his own birthday money a few months ago and bought a real flight RC simulator, and he spent some time on that. And yesterday when we went to fly RC, he took off like a champ, man. He took off. He knew how to hold rudder to keep it straight while he was taking off, and he killed it, man. The kid was it was amazing just watching him.
Man, he
10
can
years
learn
old,
fast.
he's all by himself.
What radio do you have?
I'm sorry.
What radio do you have?
On the trainer, it's still an old 72 Futaba is what we're running on that one. Just because so we've got a glider, we've got a Gentilady glider and an Eagle 63, and one's a high-tech transmitter and receiver, the other's a Futaba on 72, just because we still had them. I put new batteries in the transmitters and receivers earlier last year, but we did just pick up our first Spectrum radio at the RC swap meet along with these airplanes 2 weeks ago. Bought a 6 Spectrum, and then just ordered like 4 Lemon receivers to go with the Spectrum radio. We got a couple of the orange receivers for the electric stuff, and then I picked up some Lemons for the gas stuff that we're going to be flying.
One thing about
nice. Spectrum seems to be very reliable, very pretty much bulletproof. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I personally fly with Tyrannus right now.
Okay. At the field we go to, everybody's on Spectrum, and that's why it's not a problem for us to fly the old Futaba and the high-tech on the 72, because we're the only guys out there to have it. So it's not even
exactly. I tell you what.
It still works, so we use it.
And it works just as good.
Yeah.
I mean, I got all frequency skipping and all that kind of shit. But the guys who kept their old expensive radios on 72, they're the only ones out there flying on 72, so you don't get hit. And that was the only thing, is you had to have pins because someone else turned on the radio and yours went. I lost one in Florida at a contest when I went down there. Because a guy brought out his grandson, kicked on the radio at the back of his car, in goes my airplane.
Yeah.
But nowadays everybody's flying the other, and we've had glitches at the one field with 4 or 5 up, even on the spread spectrum.
What?
People get a little glitch. It ain't like the old days, but you sit there and you watch.
Yeah, there's one other guy. There's one other guy at our local RC place that flies on 72, and he knows me and Sam. So, but we're not even on the same channel, because I think there's like 10 channels on 72. So the 2 that we have aren't on the same one that he's on. But it's not an issue. I couldn't see myself throwing away 2 good radios and receivers just because they're older technology. They work great. Like I said, I put new battery packs in the transmitters and the receivers, and they work fine, man. There's no reason not to use them,
Yeah. The only reason for which I switched to Tyrannus is because I started to fly gliders. And for gliders, you have a much more complex programming into it. You have flight modes, and each flight mode has trims built into it separately. So as soon as you engage, you have your planes are already trimmed for that condition, and it's very has a certain algorithms in it. Like for example, it doesn't matter where your flaps are when you're launching. As soon as I flip a switch, the flaps retract to the neutral position, so I can launch the plane. And only if I'm using my throttle channel, which is the flaps channel actually in a glider, only then the flaps become active at that point. So they are being disabled and zeroed automatically, through the radio and stuff like that. So you cannot do this kind of stuff with a with the older style radios. They will not.
Yeah, I get all that, you know, with the modern stuff and the way the airplanes, especially with the gliders, like you're talking about. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about a 10-year-old kid learning to fly a 46 size
Oh,
trainer.
for you, that's perfect. Yeah.
Why would I? Yeah, there was
Yeah.
no reason to junk those radios. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But
think
we did
about
buy.
this. Yeah. Consider this next time. You know, if your kid makes progress and you want to move to the next radio. I bought this radio, the Tyrannus Plus. It's because it's so powerful and it's inexpensive. I spent about $200 for it.
Yeah.
Brand new in a box with a battery inside and a charger, right? So that's very inexpensive.
It is expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's bulletproof. I mean, first of all, I haven't heard of anybody having interference or glitches on them, and I haven't heard of so this is one of the reasons. Then you can program it whichever way you want to. It's a little bit more difficult to program it, but you can borrow programs for everybody else, and you do it via an app that's on your computer. So you open that app and you start to do all your programming on a computer, and you download it into the radio, and the limitations of this radio programming wise for flight or something like that, it's doesn't exist. I mean, you can do anything with it. And I had telemetry with a vario in it. I knew exactly the altitude at which the plane was. I had, so it's two-way telemetry with all kinds of stuff. You can put anything in it. You can monitor anything. You can monitor the controls. You can monitor RPM. You can monitor temperature. You can monitor like whatever your heart's desire.
Yeah,
And
you lost me as soon as you said you can plug it into your computer and change all this stuff. You lost me right there. Like I said, we just
I guess you love computers, right?
We just bought our first Spectrum bind and fly radio, because I've got some other 2.4 stuff that is not bind and fly. It's just 2.4 with a transmitter and receiver for some electrics. But I just bought the first Spectrum radio that I can bind and fly to, and I paid $30 for it. And then I bought the Lemon receivers for $15 a piece. So that's where we're at. You're on a whole other level. You're on a whole other level.
I tell you what, he won't be able to outfly that radio for a lot of years.
Yeah,
and
I know.
That's true.
The only reason I got my radio is because in the old days I had a radio for every airplane.
That you had to, right?
Yeah,
you had to.
The new radio, and they came out with this, and it has 16 model memory. You know, now I don't know what they're up to, 80, 90, but mine's just 16. I didn't have that many models, so I bought that radio and then just buy receivers. But the biggest thing is the servos are so much better today.
The servos are better, but we're swap meet RC guys, man.
He ain't gonna outfly none of that stuff for years.
Right. We're not buying new stuff and all this fancy shit just for him to go fly RC. We're buying airplanes from swap meets, gassers. We're not doing any electric shit. We're flying gassers from swap meets. But now at least we've got a radio, and these receivers are so cheap, and you can use standard servos in them that you can get at swap meet for $2 a piece. And you check them out. If they work, you put them in an airplane, you know. I mean, I think all up, we're putting like $50 in an RC airplane for Samuel to fly on, you know.
Yeah.
One day, when he's a teenager, if he wants to move into bigger stuff and 3D and gassers and things like that, we'll spend some money. But for right now, he's just learning, you know. So he's gonna tear stuff up.
Yeah. And I mean, there's no need for what he's doing now. I can see if he's got $1,000 airplane, you're not going to want a $2 servo in.
Well, no, exactly.
Right. So when that day comes and you change everything and you go to high techs or
we'll move on. Yeah, but
Whatever you like.
$50 airplane, $2 servos, or
See you guys later.
Take it easy, Sparky. You got all
Yeah,
your
Yeah,
guys.
see you later. Trying's holding up the radio. What you got there, Try?
TX.
Oh, that looks fancy.
Cruise. Launch. Zoom. Cruise.
Is that thing talking to you?
Yep.
Sounds like a sex doll, man.
Oh, that's you fly the Fly Sky?
Tyrannus.
I didn't know sex dolls could talk.
Yeah,
What's
they
the
can.
top though? It says FR Sky, right?
Yeah, Tyrannus. Yes.
Oh, I thought Tyrannus is the model of that radio. The maker is Fly
Yeah.
Sky.
And they have all kinds of radios that they make. They make the horse. Right now, it's programmed for a project I have at school, and so that's what I'm doing. So everything you see here, you can customize it.
Yeah.
A simulator. I gave you the name to the model and everything. Talks to you.
That looks too hard, man. It looks too hard. Give me a 6-channel airplane with retracts and flaps, and that's about as far as I want to go, man.
You know what? On this thing, you have custom voice commands. You can make your own voice recordings if you want to have something super special, and you can load it into it, and it's gonna replay it to you whenever you want to. You can do anything. I mean, it's like if you can think of it, you can do it with this thing. 32 channels. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, we're not even on the same level, man. You're so far above us, it's not even funny, man.
A buddy of mine bought and this was from Hobby Parts. At Christmas time, they had a sale on a Turnigy 12-channel, all like that. And he got the radio, the charger, no servos, 2 receivers for $102 or something. It was crazy. And I mean, this radio is just absolutely beautiful. I don't know who makes Turnigy, probably Bryce
It's
Scott.
Hobby King.
Huh?
Hobby King, I think.
Hobby King does, yes.
Well,
Turnigy's Hobby King.
Everything Turnigy is Hobby King.
Yeah. Same with that Fry Sky, whatever. It's a Hobby King owns everything.
Yeah.
They just put different names on it.
Actually, FR Sky, it's much better quality. I mean, it's the next level up. Or it's if you look at the stuff that the top of the line radios have in them, this Tyrannus has it into it. Like ball bearings on the gimbals, that has everything you can think of, as being good quality and stuff like that. And the price is just unbelievable. I mean, I think you can pick one up now for $175. I mean, if I was to spend $100 on radio versus a Tyrannus for $175, it would be no-brainer. I'd get a Tyrannus every single time.
Hey, Steve, do you remember when a 6-channel craft radio with 6 servos was $700 back in the 70s?
Me and my brother still have our world engines AM, not FM, AM 72 megahertz radio that we went in together because it was $280 for us. It looked just like a craft, a square box. It had servos that looked like a cigarette pack.
Because it's a 72.
Yeah.
How old is this thing?
I got shit older than that, Brian.
Yeah.
Trust
I got one out in my garage, a 4-channel like that.
Leonard says he's only got one radio for all of his airplanes, and he can listen to it all day long. Jack
Java,
Navely says, "Yeah, I got rid of my radio and listened to my DVD player." All right,
Java
funny.
Sky Sport, 1991, with 4 servos, was about $200.
Yeah, yeah.
But this same radio, the same Futaba 4-channel in, let's just say, 1983 was like $400, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I was like that one that my brother and I got, it had servo reversing. It was like one of the first radios to have servo reversing, where you flipped or you pulled out a pin and turned it around or something, and it reversed the servos.
Yeah, even the first craft radios, you know, a 4-channel craft radio in 1975 was $400 with 4 servos and a battery pack. It was $400, and it didn't have servo reversing. You had to put the servos in the right way and connect the arms the right way to make the servos
Or you
the
wired it,
movement go
depending
the
on
way
if
you
you could.
wanted to go.
They, the technology surely came a long way since then.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
unbelievable what you
Yeah.
can do nowadays. You can have uh, exponential functions on your servos. You can have logarithmic functions on your servos. I mean, like anything you can think of, you can have it.
Yeah. What do you, let's get back to control line here. We've been talking about the bastard RC stuff here for a while. What are you doing control line wise, Triad? Anything new coming out of the skunk works there?
Well, I was pondering with a new technique of building a geodesic wing without using the foam crates. And I was pondering with something else on top of that. I want to make an elliptical geodesic wing construction without the crates. And I actually made like a 40 size plane design, and I put it on CAD to, it's possible to make it quite easily like that. So, but right now I just don't have the time to do much of anything. I'm almost towards the ends of the semester. We have a few more weeks to go, and then the semester is going to be over. After that, I'm planning to go and visit Mark again for a week or so to make another plane for this year's Nats. So I'm going to spend a week over there to build the plane and bring it back. And that's pretty much my modeling schedule.
Speaking about this year's Nats, I'm going to throw the gauntlet down on you for the rubber powered free flight contest that we had with Dan Banjock and our models that we bought at the AMA headquarters. I hope you bring something a little more airworthy this year to fly.
Well, if you want to play, we can play a game. Just bring a rubber powered plane. Let's say you can use 3 sheets of 1/16 balsa. And
well, I'm not going that far. I'm talking about some store-bought rubber-powered stuff, and let's see who can fly the longest.
Okay.
I just remember, we had those AMA Alphas that flew so good, and you had bought that other thing, and yours every time it went, it just crashed.
That thing's wing was like a propeller. I think was warped in a box.
Yeah.
And when I put it on, there's nothing I could do to straighten it up and make it more even or anything like that. And the torque of that motor, I just want to flip it over. And I was like, oh my goodness.
The other foam wing rubber free flight that they sell, the Alpha, that was a pretty good flyer straight out of the box for $6 or $7, I think it was. We were getting pretty good flights out of those.
Yeah. And I flew first free flights. I flew them when I was in Romania, the Pioneer's House. It was 1983. That's when I was flying the first ones.
I enjoyed us all getting out there in the field and taking a break from control line and flying those rubber models and the hand launch gliders and that stuff. It's a good little diversion there at Muncie, in the evening time when everybody's done flying that last hour, you just get out some some little rubber stuff and gliders and chuck them around. That was a lot of fun. We're going to do that again this year.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm
some kind of
gonna
rubber.
fix my hand lunge glider. I'm gonna bring it with me at the Nats.
I've got some kind of rubber copter kit that Holly gave me years ago that I've never put together. Probably need to get new rubber bands, but it was a fistful of long, straight rubber. It wasn't loops, but I had never put it together. I might have to pull that out of the drawer now that y'all have started talking about rubber powered stuff and just see what it is.
Oh, it's fun to mess around with, man. You know.
Here's what I got at the swap meet.
Nice.
Micro miniatures. Let me click on you there, Steve. All right. Yeah, Micro Miniature is the finest outdoor rubber band competition kits ever.
That's
Cool.
all stick and tissue.
Is that stick and tissue stuff?
Yeah, and I opened it up, and it's like
Is it peanut or bigger?
peanut.
It's peanut. That's indoor stuff, man. You can't fly that outside.
You can.
Well, if it's like dead calm the
Yeah.
last 10 minutes before sunset.
I'll stick a heavier rubber band and a bigger propeller on it.
Okay.
But
I was gonna
look at this thing, and here's the whole kit.
Oh yeah, there ain't much to it.
A little teeny rubber band and a whole bunch of little cut pieces of wood and stuff. I'm like, oh my God.
That's some tiny little sticks.
That's like 16th square stuff, right? Steve? The
Yeah,
sticks are 16th inch square.
Mike's asking, is that 16th inch square sticks?
I don't even think they're 16th. I would say 32nd.
Really? Oh, that's tiny.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't build it. Oh shit!
I don't even think
I just
fat
two of them just then.
Yeah, my fat hands wouldn't be able to cut those pieces of balsa and put them down. They shake so bad, and that tiny stuff, that peanut scale stuff, is hard, man.
I figure that when I get to Brodak, I'm going to give it to Banjack because I'll never build it.
Tryon, I picked this one up here at the swap meet a few weeks ago. It's a Jetco Superflight Thermic 20. Have you ever built one of those?
No, but it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. What's nice about this kit, and I showed this last week, but you weren't here. So it's a 20-inch wing, but it has a shaped airfoil. It's already shaped.
Uh-huh.
Which was super nice. The old Jetco kits were already shaped. I mean, you got to cut out the swoop on the wing there.
Leonard asked Steve if he needs a Rojet 90 for that kit.
Yeah, I need a Rojet 90 for that.
Sweet looking plane.
But I'd like to put one in it.
This was the best flying hand launch glider I ever had when I was a kid, man. I built probably 4 or 5 of these when I was a kid. And you can find these kits on eBay, but guys want like $30 for them.
Wow.
I found this at the swap meet 2 weeks ago for $10. But the big deal is you don't have to carve that wing. Look at that. That's already How did they make pre-shaped balsa wings like this back in the? I mean, this is from the 60s and 70s when Jetco was making these.
Maybe with a specially shaped plane or something.
Yeah, maybe a sanding drum that's shaped.
Did they? Yeah, or did they have people?
No, not like that. You have a sanding drum. It's a drum that has the airfoil shape into it, right? And you probably have a wall, and you just feed it through. Done.
They feed it through.
Probably 2 drums, a top and a bottom, maybe. Because it looks like it's got a curve on the bottom, a concave curve on the bottom.
It look kind of flat to me, but Might be.
A little bit wide.
Yeah.
It might just be a,
They just set it on like another piece of sandpaper for traction, and the belt moves, and it just goes through that drum, and they just zip, zip. They work.
Okay. And I'm gonna show Try on this too, even though I showed it last week. So I bought a reproduction of the same kit. I bought a reproduction that's a modern reproduction Tryan from a guy on Etsy, and he does a laser cut version of the same kit, the Thermic 20. But you know what I got? A slab wing.
Well, you need to do.
All right, you lazy butt, just start standing.
And the bitch about that is you can't even sand an airfoil on there, Mike. It's not thick enough.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it's the same thickness. It's not.
No, that airfoil is thicker.
It absolutely is.
Right. It may be the same thickness at the trailing edge, but it's in the leading edge, but it's not in the center.
Not in the center. So that's my and I paid $15 for the repop kit, the laser cut kit of the Thermic 20, and I get this. This is my $10 swap meet original. So I even emailed the guy when I bought the kit. I asked him, I said, does it have a shaped airfoil wing? And he's like, no, you're going to have to sand it. And I was like, ah, shit. So it's not going to be the same. But I'll tell you what, my dad and I had 5 or 6 of these Thermic 20s, man. And what's nice about them, if you can see on the fuselage there, you don't have to put the triangle on the wing for your finger. You know, a lot of the hand launch gliders, you got to put a triangle on the trailing edge of the wing to chuck them. This one has a notch on the back of the fuselage there where you can just put your finger. And if you huck that thing, I don't know how many of them I lost, you know.
Could you put a bottle rocket motor on it and launch it?
You might be able to, but why would you? I mean, they were great. If you build them right and trim them out right, you hook them straight up, and they'll go like 75 feet, maybe 100 feet if you got a good arm. And if you got them trimmed out right, they turn up and they level out, and then they just do big right turns till they come, you know.
Like I said, I'm gonna fix my fix my DLGs, and I'm gonna bring them with me at the Nats this year.
That's awesome. Hey,
Leonard wants to.
The place
Leonard wants to know if you can bring him.
The place we were flying at Sunday or Saturday, the RC field where we were flying control line at, there was guys flying all kinds of big gassers and all this 3D shit. But there was also like 6 guys out there with the disc launch stuff, just going all day long, whipping them up and all day. There was a pretty big contingent of disc launch glider guys out there. And I walked over and looked at a few of them. They were all these carbon fiber wings and fuselages. And, you know, I'm not talking about built up balsa covered in monocoat like the Tower Hobbies disc launch glider. These were serious guys, man. These were serious guys.
You know what? I make some of those. I even sold some of those.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask them where they got their equipment. These were carbon fiber models, all wings, the whole, and you pick it up, and you know, I had my car keys weighed more than the airplanes I'm holding.
Yes, those 1.5 meters, they weigh about around 200 grams, 220, 230 grams or so at 1.5 meter wingspan. And that's the same technology, you know. That's where my school was before I even built the Revolutions.
Have you ever sold any of that stuff to guys in Tennessee? You ever shipped any of it to Tennessee?
No.
Okay.
No.
Leonard wants you to bring him a set of plans to Brodak, Mike.
A set of plans for what?
The little kit you were just showing.
Oh, yeah.
Just go to Kinko's and scan it.
Actually, I have 2 sets of plans because I have the originals. Len, just PM me your address and I'll send you these. I'll just put these in the mail with a stamp.
Oh, they're full size, huh?
No, it's just one side. But I mean,
No,
it's all.
size. My wing is full size on there and stuff, and
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Everything on this plan is full size. The wing, the fuselage, the stab, and the rudder. It's all full size.
cool.
So just PM me your address, and I'll stick this in the mail to you because I don't need it. I've got the original plans here. So, which these are a copy of, which came from the.
I was gonna say, Mike, I don't know. You probably find them around. You know what a duplicator is? It's like a little thing with a bunch of little pins in it, and you loosen it up, and you put it over something, it'll do a shape.
It'll trace it out, yeah.
I mean, I
do that on a piece of balsa. Get you, 1/4 inch or 1 inch piece of balsa, and mark that, and take and make the wing shape there. Put some sandpaper in it, then you can sand that. Go along and sand out your wing shape. I got a duplicator. We're looking for the airfoil and stuff. We'd copy an airfoil and just make a little sanding block, and then we could shape wings.
Steve, you can do a better job than that. You don't really need that. But see that the thing is, like, if you shape it the way they show you in the plans, it's not going to be really optimum. You want to thin it out the airfoil towards the tip. You're not making much thinner towards the tip, right? Even though it may be semi-shaped to begin with, you still have to do the final shaping to it.
Oh yeah. You're absolutely right, Tryon. This slab, I mean, at the root, it's going to be thick, but as you get out to the tip, it's going to get narrower as it goes out to the tip. Yeah, but it's nice
and you
to
might
start with this. It's nice to start with this versus a slab. Yeah. It's you still have to narrow it down from the root to the tip, but it's much easier to do it with this than it is with this. Hell, I could make this all day long in my shop with scrap balsa. Yeah,
you don't need to pay $20 for that.
It's laser cut, but it's freaking. There's no airflow to it.
Yeah.
But Lance,
see, my story with composites started in. My story about composites started way back in 2000 and some, 2003 or so, when I initially wanted to build the Revolutions, right? And after that, I just needed something to relax, and I said I want to build a glider. So I went to the flying field, and I was flying my glider, and I saw these guys flying DLGs over there, and I saw them initially, and they showed me their DLG and how they were in high demand, and I said, well, I need something to sponsor the project for the Revolutions, and I said I'm going to build some of those gliders, sell them, and build my Revolutions plane. So I spent a considerable amount of time and effort into that stuff, including I built a CNC hot wire cutter. I built a everything you need, like, for pretty much production type, building of DLGs and stuff like that. And then everything changed because it's so dynamic, and they went to this fully built up composite one-piece fuselages and those wings that have nothing to do with the whole wing morphs and warps and changes airfoil from the root to the tip. I mean, just quite a marvel of engineering when it comes to aerodynamics and stuff like that in it. And I started to build those too. So that's kind of where I started with a composite, and I built a lot of experience from over there. And then finally I returned back to build the Revolutions project, and with all the background as a experience, and that's what made actually the revolution. So, you know, I think it's a success in my opinion, but uh, it's radical from what everything else that's out there in control line community that you know just almost scary.
Have you started on the smaller version yet?
No, don't have time for that.
Okay.
But the big one, even the big one, it's just gonna be in the 53 ounces. 53-ounce plane on a 700 square inches. I mean, that thing is just it's something. And even the original one, the first one, the prototype, that's still about 68 ounces or so, and still flies like it's no tomorrow. It's just they're that good.
So that guy who has the molds and stuff, is he put a new one together yet or not?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Mark has the molds, and he put one together. Yes, and actually, I went over there to train him on everything, and we spent quite some time. I spent a whole week over there with him doing we built the whole plane basically in a week.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's that quick. I mean, it's just like you do. You do prepping and you PVA, you put clear in a mold, and you start to do your painting and stuff like that in a mold, and
Yeah,
next day you're already laying down materials.
Okay.
Yeah. So this like first day you prep everything and you prep the mold and cut all the material, and the next day in a matter of half an hour you can put a panel inside a mold in half an hour, and after that another half an hour, 1 hour later you have a whole wing in a vacuum bag ready to go. Another hour later you can have the whole stabilizer again done. It's like both top and bottom, two halves, right? And then you can do another hour later, you can have like in 4 or 5 hours you have the two sides of the fuselage, the two sides of the wing, two sides of the elevator in the mold, done, ready to go. And next day what you do, you join the two halves together, right? So that's day 2. I'm actually basically day three. So in day 4 you're already pulling out one wing, one horizontal, and a whole fuselage out, right? And at point you can also in day 4 you can prep the wing, you can cut everything, stuff like that. Day 5 you can start laying out again. Day 6 you join. Day 7 you have a plane done, because meanwhile when we're doing the other stuff you can work on a fuselage and put the hard points and stuff like that. Everything is fixtured, everything is done perfectly, so you have interchangeable parts and stuff like that. You know, it's just this project, it was something, you know.
This is all electric, though, right?
Yes.
It's all electric control line, no, not for IC motors.
You can do it IC if you want to, but I wouldn't.
Right. I mean, you're designing this around an electric motor is the idea. Yeah. I mean,
it can work both ways. It can work both ways. You can take the electric stuff out and put a crutch inside, seal the back side, and I think I'd use just a muffler style with that one.
Yeah.
But you still have the nose removable and stuff like that. It's easy access to everything, so you can put your fuel tank, whatever you have needing there. Yeah. That's actually the original design intent was to have anything you want. You can go electric or you can go IC. The problem with IC would be is that this plane is so light, the tail is so light. If you put IC where you have most of the weight in the nose, you would make it nose heavy, right?
Right.
And
Steve, have you seen his airplane?
Not in person. I see.
Okay, I did. I saw it at Canton, Georgia, and I went over because you were taking the elevator off, I think, because you had to take apart. You took the elevators off, and I was just blown away how light the airplane was.
Yeah.
In pictures, I talked to Chris Rudd, and he's a friend with Mark, and I know Chris has flown it and stuff, and Chris was doing one of his models, and you could replace the nose IC or electric with a couple screws or whatever. And the front end came off and put the other on. So,
is there such a thing as too light of an airplane though for control line stunt? I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah, there is, but it's never been built.
yeah, that's what Bob says. You can build one too light. It's just never been done.
Yeah, it's the thing is like okay, here's an experience for you. When you switch to the SV22 was a pretty big step up, right?
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah, he was flying ARFs before.
Yeah, I said when you switched to the SV22 was a big step up, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. Imagine another step like that, it would be revolutions.
Okay.
I mean, it's that staggering. I mean, the energy retention on this thing is just unbelievable. You know, you just turn and keeps going and want some more. And I cannot coordinate hard enough. Is that? I mean, just like it's solid. It's rock solid. I mean, if you feel like a step up to go to the SV22 from whatever you flew before, do another step up and you get to revolutions.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
there's no comparison.
If Samantha was gonna fly for sure or whatever, I'd get her one, but we don't need a take apart, and I don't need another airplane in the house. You know, that's the big thing. Is that what to do with all the airplanes we have, and each one.
Oh, hey, I know what you can do with them. I got an address.
Well, it's like you know, she built that Banshee that she calls, you know, Banshee. You know, that was an plane, and she won with that one, and she won with this one, and won with that one. Well, she wants to keep them all. You know, but she'll never fly them again.
Yeah.
So I
hear you, Steve.
Airplanes.
If it ever comes down to it, I got an up and coming junior, man. That's you know, we're gonna need planes for. So just keep that in the back of your head, man.
Well, I plan on letting him fly an electric when we're at Brodak.
Yeah, he flew Will Davis's Ugly Betty electric, which was, I think it's a Vector 40 electric. He flew.
I must be the only person in the world that hadn't flown Ugly Betty.
Yeah, Will's plane.
Make that two.
Make that two. Yeah.
How do you like it?
I'll tell you what, Sam was like, Daddy, I don't know about these electric planes, man. I'm not sure if I like these electric planes because they don't have the same sound. And of course, this is the wisdom of a 10-year-old. You got to understand.
Like father, like son. I think he goes after daddy.
He's a 10-year-old.
Daddy says he likes the noise of the motor. He likes the noise of the motor.
No, it's not me. It's just what he said. He was like, yeah, it was okay to fly electric, but it just didn't sound the same. You know, that's a 10-year-old talking, man. So, hey, Rusty, we got any YouTube comments or anybody still following there? Or asking?
Not lately. Leonard checked out, and let's see, Gary Sinclair checked out, and that's about it. I hadn't got anything that I hadn't brought up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been keeping up with them pretty well tonight.
Good.
Hey, I'm gonna go get another coffee. I'll be right back.
All right,
Steve. When I make the
Samantha.
I said when I made the revolutions as a take apart, I make it for take apart for one reason only, is to make it simpler. Believe it or not, because it's easier to make half of a wing out of one mold, and you don't have to make a full wing out of one mold. It's much easier to do that. It is also much easier to do a fuselage in two pieces that than making a whole one and then try to assemble and stuff like that. So for me to simplify my stuff, I had to complicate it just a little bit.
But
Yeah.
Brian,
What's that all about?
you have all the molds for this airplane. Are you the only guy with the molds for these airplanes?
Yes.
You have the molds and you can make this airplane.
Yes.
And so you can fabricate the pieces, and then I guess you're wanting to sell them as a kit. Is that the idea?
It's a possibility, but it's never going to be a kit.
It's never going to. Well, what would it be? A completed airplane, or
if your option, what you're looking for is to get a
if
to
I
have
wanted a
the
revolution, how would
builder
I
of the
get
model kind of rule thing built into that, then you probably have to make some time and then participate in a build.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I'm asking if I wanted to have one, how would I get one?
First of all, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that anytime soon because
Okay.
I don't have the molds and
That
Mark
was my
has them,
question.
right?
Yeah.
And I
That
don't
was
have
my
the time for it. Yes, honestly.
Right. Okay.
What it is, if you wanted to get one, is this for yourself or for Sam?
Well, no, I was just asking in general. If people wanted to get their hands on this airplane and be able to own this airplane, how would you go about doing it? I'm not specifically asking for myself or
Hey,
for
Mark,
Sam.
I
I'm
don't know
just
if
saying.
Mark has time to do them or not.
I'm not sure about Mark, but he'll probably definitely be willing to have you over there and go and build one.
See, that was
And
my
who was
idea,
Mark?
that if we were going to do it, we were going to go to Chicago, and Samantha would start to build it. We'd probably
Who's
have,
Mark?
we can't go for 7 days, but we could go for a weekend, 2 days here, 2 days there, whatever. Then it would qualify for builder of the model.
Yeah, but Steve, that would not be practical. You would not want to do that because that means you're going to tie up the molds. And besides, if you have something in a mold, you want to join the next day. You don't want to just leave it there.
Okay.
Right?
Who is Mark?
It's Mark McKinney.
Mark McKinney. He has the molds.
Yeah.
And he's in Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you're not making pieces to sell to people to assemble their own airplanes. It's really, you got to have the molds and you got to do the stuff in your 7-day process, like you said.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I understand now. That's what I was asking.
You can't leave a half a wing without joining it the next day.
You want to mold them the first day and you want to join them in the second day. You don't want to mold them and leave them in a mold forever until you decide to come back and join them.
Couldn't you just pop it out and save it until you got another one done and pop it out?
That's
kind
of what I was asking.
You could probably do in 2 days. You can have basically a wing, an elevator, and a fuselage done. So if you spend 2 days to do that, why not spend another 2-3 days to save yourself the trip and hassle and stuff like that and get it done?
Well, but Tryon, could you not pop out 10 fuselages, 10 wings, 10 elevators, and then ship them to someone?
It's not like that. We only have one set of molds.
Well, I understand that. But unless you have a set of molds, you're not going to be able to build this airplane.
Yes.
What I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what it is that if we can't do it that way, then it won't work because we use our vacation time for flying at contests.
I see.
So, there's no way to get another week there.
We'll just send her over there.
She works too. Plus, she's in school. But during the summer, she'll still go full time.
Yeah, well,
full time.
That was my question too, Tryon. You say going from an SV-22 to the Revolutions, but how am I ever going to get one if I can't go to
see what you're saying. Yeah.
and build one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? take a week to go to where the molds are to make one. That
Yeah. Well,
so
I
I'm
never
wondering.
intended to have it for like production kind of thing, or make production out of it, simply because of it's not worth the hassle, right? If I had
Okay,
to make, if I have to make 50, 100 of them a year and sell them, then it would be worth my time. But because it's say you want one or somebody else wants one. If I have to sell only two or three of them a year, it's not worth of my time. You know, I mean, I have school, I have work, and I have other things to do, and for me to do
understood.
this full time, I'll have to quit my job, quit my school, quit everything, and then I will have to make it worth it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the issue over there. I mean,
I get
if
all that,
anybody would be
but it
interested, I
also
mean, I'm going over there. I'm gonna go there and build maybe, or maybe when I'm saying like, well, I have a better plane, I want to sell my old one. That's probably gonna be an option,
okay.
right?
So you sell your old one, but I mean the point I'm getting at is anyone that wants one, it, you're not going to be able to get one. This isn't a kit that's marketed
No, it's not.
and people are going to be able to buy.
No, it's
We
not.
we
Yeah.
might we might be able to purchase one of your old models or
Uh-huh.
one that somebody else makes out of your mold.
Yes.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we the general public's just not going to be able to purchase one from you
Yeah.
or someone else.
Unless somebody wants to learn about it and wants to make them themselves from that point on,
Okay,
right?
gotcha,
But there's
gotcha.
gonna be a learning curve for that.
Sure, sure.
Okay, a pretty steep learning curve.
Yeah,
So yeah, the reason for which I put it on a stunt hanger is to show the possibilities, what can
possibility.
be done,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
And to
you're
share
expanding
with
your horizon.
share some things over there. It's like I even started a section in a stunt hanger, about the composites, using composites in our day-to-day, wood build stuff. And I don't see much interest anywhere over there anyways, even though I could see a lot of places where you could probably introduce a little bit of composites in your wood construction.
Well, they have to start winning at the Nats and at the World Championships. I mean, that's how you're going to win people over to that way of thinking. Is
Yeah.
your revolutions needs to win the Nats. Somebody flying
Yes.
it, make it a Nats champion airplane, or
Uh-huh.
somebody takes your revolutions to the World Championships and
Yeah.
wins, and then people will pay attention. You
Yes,
know,
if it people like are more like a the herd effect. If the leader of the herd goes in one direction, they all want to go over there.
I'm not talking about the leader of the herd, but generally in any sport,
Yes.
whether it's control line or racing or motorcycles or what, the guys that are winning, people are interested in the equipment that they're using
Uh-huh.
that are winning the first place trophies.
Yeah,
So
even though it's the person who does the winning, not the equipment as
it's
much as the person.
well, no, it's a combination of both, man.
Little, yeah, yeah, but sometimes, here's an example. You would, if you go to a glider concert or something like that, and Joe Words would show up, right? And he would borrow a plane from somebody and just kick everybody's ass with that, right? With
But
the borrowed equipment, because he can
I
fly
mean, there's
anything,
that.
right?
There's
And
well,
that.
and,
But
and
Buck, he puts in 500-point flights with a Skyray.
yes,
I
Everybody can have a Skyray, so that means
it
everybody.
doesn't mean they're gonna be do like that. No.
No,
no, there is talent involved for
yeah,
sure, but you've got to admit that in any competitive sport where a machine is involved, um, there the reason people get sponsors and use certain things is because they work better than the other guy's stuff. The equipment is better, and that's why it wins.
Well, there's if you are assuming that everybody that's in that sport are very, very close competitively and in talent and in abilities. So when the
Yes.
difference between them, it's like, for example, let's say Formula One. If you shuffle the drivers around and put them in different cars, guess what? When they're going to qualify, they're going to end up kind of in the same similar position where the cars are ending up right now, anyways, right? But all the drivers are so close together as abilities and talent. I mean, most of them, right? Anyways, so it's like maybe 1% between all of them, or 2-3% between all of them, talent wise, right? So if everybody would be in control line stand, they will all score like between 550 and 560 scores, kind of like that, right? So that close in ability, and they all equally match, and at that point, equipment makes the difference, right? For these
Right.
guys, they go 550, 560 to have a plane that's going to outfly the other ones. They will jump up and win it. But it's not because that's when the equipment comes in place, but it's such a vast difference in the talent and abilities of the control line flyers today. The equipment is not, you know,
Well,
yeah,
because control line flying is subjective
yeah,
based on what judges see.
yeah,
It's subjective. It's not cut and dry. It's not the same as a motorcycle race with a lap time or a car race with a lap time. The fastest guy in motorcycles or cars wins.
yes.
You know,
But most
the
of those
fastest drag
motorcycles that
racer.
are very equally matched.
But in control line, you have judges watching you and giving you points for your maneuvers. It's subjective. It really is. It's not on a stopwatch,
Mm-hmm.
where racing is. So my point is that unless somebody is winning a bunch of stuff with this crazy new airplane design, people aren't going to take notice. If it's not winning,
Mm-hmm.
people won't migrate toward that new
Yeah.
Well,
new
that's why
technology.
people pay race car drivers to drive their car,
Yeah.
because Chevy wants people to buy race on Sunday, buy on Monday. You know,
Right.
but
I mean that's all I'm saying, Tryon. I'm not
Yeah.
dogging your airplane or anything. I'm just saying, people won't come around to that way of thinking until it's a Nats champion airplane or a world championship airplane. You
Yeah.
might be onto something nobody else has thought of, but unless a top guy is winning with it, the rest of the herd isn't going to go that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're gonna keep doing the same things
Mm-hmm.
that have been winning the Nats and the World Championships for years and years and years. And I know there's been subtle changes over the years. There's been a lot of changes over the years in the way F2B is flown and won, and the way the Nats have been flown and won.
Uh-huh.
But I think they've all settled on the same numbers, same moments, types of airplanes,
Yes.
type ships.
yeah,
I would love to see you come in there and upset the apple cart and kick everyone's ass with your Revolution and your electric carbon fiber airplane.
It's,
where I think his airplane would really come in is an IC, for the reason it ain't going to oil soak. The weight is never going to change on it. And if you wreck the airplane, you can get another one that's going to be within percentages of flying like the other.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
where the genius of that is, because Samantha had a Vector 40 that she could absolutely fly the hell out of. It crashed. We did two more, and we never could get one to fly like that one she had. Don't know what we did different to it, whatever, but it was
wasn't
totally different.
repeatable. It wasn't
Not
repeatable.
repeatable. And repeatable is,
And I think with Tryon's airplane, I mean it's pretty. The manufacturing process is damn near repeatable to the nth. You know, everything you do, right?
Yes, everything is practically interchangeable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may
I can make a new wing separate, and then I can just put the new wing on a plane and fly it without ever noticing the difference.
You know, the only thing
Right.
would be is that in the sun, if it heated up, one might expand or could, you know, temperature wise, a little bit different. What that would be, you know.
Not in not with carbon. It's such so little expansion or contraction is negligible.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't exist.
But you know, that's where I see where that's going to be is it's just repeatable, and that's the hard thing to do is repeat. You
It
know.
is, but if you want to get everyone on board doing that, it has to win major contests, you know, or
Yeah.
these guys, they're not going to change what they're doing.
Yeah.
But what it is, you don't want anyone else to fly it and tell you when the gnats. You know, that much
Yeah, there
you
go.
don't want to give anybody else the upper hand with you. You want to keep it all to yourself until you win, until you're tired of winning, then you let other people have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to give you an idea what happened after the Nats, I let Mark McKinney fly my plane, right? And within 4 flights, he said he puts the best flight of his life on that plane. In 4 flights. I mean, he was comfortable with it. It's like he said he always had a plane that had some weaknesses here or there or something like that. This plane has no weaknesses anywhere. Whatever you want to do with it, just put it there and it's gonna go. So it's it's that kind of thing. And I think next year I'm gonna have to fight him up because it's gonna be me and him over there with these guys. So
So will
so
there be 2 of you flying these airplanes at the net? You'll have one and he'll have one at the
yes,
Nats next year? There'll be 2 of those at the Nats and
yes,
only 2. Both electric powered
yes.
and both flying in open or advanced. What are you
Advance.
flying? Advanced. Okay.
Yes.
So both your designs, both you and Mark will be flying advanced with the Revolution Electric
Uh-huh.
at the Nats next year. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
Vance is
that's
a tough class. It really is.
advanced is expert. Yeah, the Nats basically.
Yeah. Yeah, Vance is tough. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. See, last year when I went to the Nats with the Revolutions, right? I went to the Nats after I haven't flown control line since 2003 or so. From 2003 or 2000, somewhere thereabouts, right? I don't know exactly which year was that. But after that, till last year, I only put maybe 5 flights before I flew the Revolutions. And I flew the Revolutions for the first time at the Nats Sunday before the contest started. So I didn't even have a trim flight. So Sunday we put the first flights on it to just get used to it and stuff like that. Sunday afternoon we put the first pattern on a plane, and as I was getting more and more comfortable with it, and you can also see the scores. I mean, it's like started in 418 and I ended up at 535. So and that's within a total of 15, maybe 20 flights on it. And so it's just, I mean, the progress on it the progress that I've made on it was just unbelievable. And actually, ever since when I went to a contest anywhere, I consistently score the highest scores that I ever scored in my whole life. It's simply because the ability of the plane, you know, it's so it's so effortless when you fly it, and you don't have to um, put any effort just in about anything in it. So that's, to me, that was that was the goal, just to have a nice solid flying plane, and it is everything I've ever wanted to have.
Where did you finish at advanced in the Nats last year?
I
Which
finished
discipline?
5th.
So you made it. You made it through the top 10, and you finished 5th.
Yes,
That's awesome, man.
I finished 5th. The average score was I don't remember what was. I got 535 and 506 or 510 somewhere over there. I
Okay.
don't know. I'd have to look at, but it was just pretty high scores because I never scored anything over 480, 490 at a Nats level.
That's awesome. How did you end up at Canton? With Canton, I mean, I met you at the Nats when we were flying the rubber airplanes
Mhm.
with Banjock. I didn't know you were there flying the Revolution in advanced. But then in Canton, Georgia, you were there for that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I met you.
Yes,
How did you end up there in Canton in advanced?
4th, I think.
Okay.
4th.
Yeah, that was a pretty big field there too.
Yeah, it was lots of turbulence, lots nasty air. But
Yeah,
what I've seen,
the fields weren't the best either. They were a little wet, a little soggy, if you remember.
yeah,
Yeah. But
Well,
yeah,
that's
what,
where I
Mike?
saw you and saw your airplane, and you let me pick it up and hold it, and I was blown away by how light the thing was, and it looked beautiful too, just
mhm,
beautiful airplane.
mhm,
That's like with Samantha. We always flew IC. She never liked electric until we put together that prototype for Brodak. We got that, put it all together, and she flew it. And she consistently flew in the 500s with that.
mhm,
She was sold then
yeah,
because that was with her. She was 580, 590. One time, she might get a 503,
mhm,
down. Well, she was flying them scores, and we were going to fly a ARF at the Nats for advanced because it outflew her Tempest that she built with a PA motor and everything else in it. And then we crashed it the day before when that push rod broke. And so she ended up flying the Tempest, got it going. I think she did a 510, something like that with that Tempest. But
You should fire the guy
she would
that
have won it.
soldered that push rod.
Huh?
You should fire the guy that soldered that push rod, man.
With no solder on it. Well, actually, it ripped the threaded part out of the plastic part on the
Clevis.
no, it was a ball link
Oh, okay.
on that.
I'm just messing with you, Steve.
Yeah, when I put it on there, I'm like, man, this one turns easier than I'm used to when I put on the ball links. But I'm like, well, I pulled on it, and it's like, well, it's good. And the story was she says, Dad, my plane's out of trim again. And
Oh, that was telltale sign right
it
there.
was pulling out.
Yeah.
And she went to do her square outside. She came and while she's out there, I'm like, God damn it, I want to turn that damn thing. I want to see it straight down. She came across the top and popped that airplane, and it actually popped. It went snap, and it went right in the ground.
it went down.
Yeah. And I tell you what, it hit so straight in that it collapsed the spinner up, and it didn't break either prop, either side of the prop. It went in so straight, stuck a divot in the asphalt, never broke the prop, and just collapsed the spinner right in flat. That's how straight that airplane hit going into the ground.
Well, she went down, all right.
Right in on top of each other. The wing, I still have the wing. There ain't nothing wrong with the wing. There ain't nothing wrong with the tail. But the nose and the aft fuselage just look like an accordion. Everything right right there. No parts went flying, anything. It was all wham, right there. But she was going to fly
Flight 93.
points, and I think she would have won. I really do. She was flying that airplane. She's still, there's not an airplane she's ever flown better than that airplane.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you
It's-
what. Sammy got out there yesterday or Saturday and just killed it, flying combat and flying his stunt plane. He was doing outside squares and reverse wingovers and pulling out at like 6 feet. We haven't flown since last fall, but I put him up on a combat wing first, just let him fly and go fart around, and I'm like, wear it out, ring it out, man, be hard on it. And then I put him on a stunt plane, and it was just like easy peasy. Everything from last fall came back.
Yeah.
He's going to be a force to be reckoned with this summer, man.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah, they don't
He's going to
forget.
kick our ass pretty soon.
They
Kids,
don't. Yeah,
kids
he'll
don't
be kicking
forget.
my ass pretty soon.
They don't get that winter rust like most older guys do.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing was I put him on a 75-mile-an-hour airplane, and he just went out there and was like, you know, he had the little son of a bitch. He had his hand in his pocket. Well, he's right-handed. He had his left hand in his pocket while he was flying, just standing there like this, with his hand in his pocket, flying around. And I'm like, okay. All right, smart ass, let's go. And the best thing for him to fly stunt is to fly combat planes that go 75 miles an hour. Because when he flies stunt, everything is slowed down for him flying stunt.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have a definite advantage flying stunt because he flies faster combat airplanes. Not fast combat planes, but 75-mile-an-hour airplanes.
I always tell Samantha, practice hard, fly easy.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about it.
Samuel is so relaxed out there flying a speed limit combat plane at 75. He just stands out there, and of course I'm using the wrong hand. He's right hand. He just grooves, and he's watching the airplane the whole time. He just flies the airplane and does big, smooth maneuvers at 75 miles an hour. So when he gets a stunt plane in his hand that's doing 5-second laps, he's like, okay, everything is slowed down, I think it's a definite advantage for him to fly faster airplanes,
It's nothing like flying something super slow. I think one of the best patterns I ever flew in my whole life was on an Oriental during a rain, and I was flying about 6-second laps on it. I mean, I was just barely touching the controls on that thing. I mean, but at 6-second lap time, man, you can read a book and fly stunt at the same time.
Well, my point is, if he's flying combat planes with 3-second laps,
yeah,
right? Combat plane with 3 and he can do figure eights and overheads and outsides and insides, flying a plane that flies 3-second laps. He at a 5.2-second lap, his reaction times are already there.
Yes.
Well, you'll find out, it's like with Samantha, flying her on slow combat airplanes, learning the pattern and all that kind of stuff. That one NASA that she won, it was really windy. So Dick said, let's fly this airplane at about 4.5, 4.6 lap times. Because she can fly a fast airplane.
Sure.
We tweaked that son of a bitch up and launched it. Flew the whole damn thing. It wasn't as good as when she flew slower. And it wasn't as good as when she didn't fly in the wind. But there was no one else that could touch her flying in that wind because her plane was cutting through it.
Right.
Yeah.
But she was used to it because she did it on a combat plane.
Right. She just
Right.
she can fly fast. I mean, it does not bother her.
Right. And
You know,
Samuel.
I mean, it's just it bothers me because when she wants to talk to me, she flies behind her head. Why so she can hear me and stuff because the damn things make so much noise. But yeah, she's doing this and doesn't even watch it. And this son of a bitch is 75 miles an hour. To me, is really
Right.
for her. It's
Samuel is exactly the same way. He's flying a speed limit combat wing and doing reverse wing overs with it, reverse wing over pullouts at 75, and then doing inside squares and triangle and AMA 8s with a combat plane. So you can't tell me that doesn't make him better at doing that with a stunt plane that's flying half the speed.
Yeah.
Their
that's great.
reaction, and
That's good.
he's not scared of the ground, pulling out low, because I don't bitch at him if he stuffs a combat wing. I don't yell at him. I'm like, you should have pulled up a little higher, or you needed another foot on that pullout. But
watch out for the high spot.
Well, yeah. When I was shooting trap and that coach went to the school for 4 days or 5 days, whatever it was. After we did a whole lot of practicing and all this kind of stuff, it was a deal. He goes, "Who wants to shoot a 25 straight? Who has never shot 25 straight? Who wants, everybody?"
Me.
So he went and cranked up the damn thrower to throw 80-mile-an-hour targets. Usually we throw at 65. So he cranks this thing as far as it'll go through the hardest angles. Had everybody go out there and shoot 25. And if you got 15, 16, boy, you were doing good. We went over to the other house that was throwing regular targets. Everybody shot at 25. Just from trying to shoot so fast that once you went back to normal, it seemed so slow. It was like you had twice as much time as you normally had.
Yeah. Oh, that's how you get better, man.
Yeah. And that's what he always said: practice hard, shoot easy. And it was really true. But you were talking about the plane and the equipment and stuff like that. But one day he went out there and he's like, because people wanted, what gun you think I should get? And, should I get this one, that one? And he's like, it's not the gun, it's not the gun. And he says, until you get to 98%, don't worry about the gun. Everybody's like, well, you see all these guys with these good guns, they all shoot better. And he goes, I want to show you something. He went out there, took his gun and put it at his side and shot 25 straight from the hip. He goes, you really think it's the gun? We're all like, oh my God. The reason why he was the world champion is because he could shoot. And he did it the same way every time.
There's a lot of that translate to control line, but I mean, being able to fly is one thing, but good equipment is absolutely
it's like
another part of that.
You
got to have good equipment.
Yes.
Like
one thing I want to say about the good equipment is that
back, you can't see it, and that's the same thing from shooting from the hip. Once you get so good, and I seen you sit there and fly behind your back and shit. Once you get there, and when you look at it, it makes it that much easier. And it's like Sam with his hand in his pocket out there, D. He knows it makes everything then when he's really concentrating that much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, he's comfortable flying control line. I'm telling you, he can.
Right.
It's natural to him. He just flies. He's not nervous. He's not scared. He's not worried about busting shit up because I don't bust his ass if he does break an airplane. I don't yell at him. I don't. I'm like, just go fly, man. Get better. And he can do eyes off flying because he flies combat. He's flying combat. So he's watching the other guy's plane and flying his plane at the same time. And that's all beneficial to him, I think, for stunt flying. But I don't know how you were. I don't know how you were with Samantha when she was growing up and learning and crashing a lot of shit. But I never get down on Sam. I never yell at him. I don't get pissed off when he breaks an airplane. I'm just like, listen, this is part of the deal. You're gonna crash planes. Don't make stupid mistakes, but sometimes you're just gonna wreck when you're trying to get better. But I never make him feel bad about crashing an airplane. We always try to laugh about it and say, don't make that mistake again.
Well, for
I don't want to. I don't want to discourage him.
Don't fall in love with an airplane because there's only two types of airplanes: one that has crashed, and those that will.
And those
That's
that
the
will.
two types of airplanes. I don't give a shit. They will finally go in and crash if you fly it enough.
All of them. All of them. Every one of them.
The only time I got mad on her is when she flew the whole pattern talking to her boyfriend on her cell phone. I yelled out there. I said, "You crashed the airplane. Your ass is mine." Because then, to me, she's like, "Yeah, yeah," and she's flying the whole. And I'm like, "Oh my god, she's talking on a telephone, flying the pattern with her damn Nance airplane." But
yeah, I wouldn't have allowed that to happen. So, but
well, it was in her back pocket. The phone rings when she's flying, so she just takes it out and just starts talking.
Well, there's one thing that always stopped me from making progress, and that was a plane that I had to fight.
Yep.
If I had to fight the plane, I couldn't learn anything. And actually, what happened to me is that I was flying a plane that was barely flying the pattern. The engine would quit whenever my life was, happier, and I could barely do a horizontal 8 at a time. Maybe I don't think I attempted to go a vertical 8. And then I built an SV11 or SV22 with a it was an SV22, and it had a 46 VF on it at the time. This was in 1996. I made the same job that you made right now, right? And from that point on, it took me about 2-3 weeks to learn a whole pattern on the plane. Just because the plane would fly, it would perform, it would stay where I put it, the engine would never quit, everything was consistent, and I could make progress. If you keep flying crap and hope and fight it, you're not learning, you're fighting. That's all there's to it. So I think the if you think value of having a good equipment, this is where the value is. I mean, like, if you don't know how to fly the whole pattern, just try to fly it now when you have a good plane in your hand, and you stop worrying about things. All you have to do is just focus and stuff like that. So that's my take on that on equipment stuff.
No, you're right, Tryon. You're absolutely right on that. I can fly the whole pattern, and I have been able to for 2 or 3 seasons and fly it pretty respectfully with some junky airplanes.
Yeah.
In intermediate, I was flying in intermediate, but I could fly the whole pattern.
Yeah.
And I was winning some contests and getting better. And then I won the Nats last summer in intermediate. So I moved to advanced, but I want better equipment. I want to have better equipment.
Yeah.
To give me the best chance to progress and move on.
Yeah.
I can
you could have been there a long time ago.
I can fly the whole pattern comfortably without crashing.
Yes.
Unless there's an engine out or something like that. But I can, fly the whole pattern without worrying about crashing. And then it's a matter of better flying airplanes, better engine runs, and the stuff that carries you higher.
Yeah.
Can I break in for a second?
My point is,
I gotta break in before we lose any more YouTube viewers. And I posted a couple of links I should have posted earlier, but this is one last note about the calendar. I posted in our video chat box, and I posted on the YouTube chat box the link to the forum thread that tells you how to send in your pictures to Gary Sinclair so he can make our Stunthangar commemorative souvenir calendar. And I just wanted everybody to know where it was, and there is a link to it in both chat boxes, the YouTube chat box and the Hangouts chat box. So if anybody is interested, y'all please send Gary some pictures of you and your planes, and it can be, I think he would like to have some builds that are still on the table in skeleton form for whatever you're building for this year's models. But any pictures you think look cool that you would like in the calendar, be sure and read that thread, download the forum that's attached to it, and get the pictures in, because he's got a limited time before he has to go ahead and print it. So if you want to get in it, go ahead and look at those links that I posted in the two chat boxes, please. And it's in the open forum, so you could find it by looking in there too. All right, carry on.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say good night. I have to go to work tomorrow.
Thanks,
So,
Ray.
yeah, you guys have a good one. It's been fun to be here, and I'll see you when I'll see you.
See ya.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
Good night.
Tryon, I'm throwing down the rubber powered challenge at the Nats this year. You better bring your best rubber powered airplane to the Nats.
I'm taking no prisoners, although.
Okay.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Well, I had a busy night. Got the underside all done there, bud.
While we were talking, you did all that?
Oh, let me click over to you. What you got there?
Who are you clicking on?
You.
Who said that?
Oh, me. I did. Tom. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. See if I can get the camera a little closer. It ain't too bad.
Yeah. Oh, you'd been pretty busy over there tonight.
Yeah, I've seen him painting away. I was watching his technique.
Yeah, that looks blue.
Yeah. How did I pass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see any runs or anything.
Nope. No runs. I don't know how I do it, but somewhere along the freaking line, there's a little passageway where just a little bit of paint gets through the masking tape. So now I've got some camo to touch up, but no biggie.
That's why I use that.
That's the thing about warbirds. Half of them they painted with brooms anyway.
But what I do is I use that 1/4 inch paint tape. Yep. And usually I don't get anything under that. If I go back over it, then tape with the.
Oh, it was when I was wrapping the paper over the.
Oh.
I had a wrinkle in the paper, and it went through that. You know.
Okay.
I thought I had all my holes covered, but that's okay.
That's what she said.
Yeah. What? That's okay, or covered all?
We did that on Samantha's airplane and ended up hitting the whole side of it with blue. And I don't know if the masking tape raised off the paper wasn't stuck good, so there was a little hole there. She sprayed and it went right down the side of it.
You coming to the Nats?
We're gonna try. That's the plan.
Okay.
See how I'm feeling, and
well, I'll be there Saturday flying this thing, so you'll see it up close and personal on my. That adds another 50 cents of color, so I got $1.50 of color on there now.
Holy shit!
You'll be there Saturday flying that, test flying it, right? And then
I'll be flying that airplane Saturday morning at 7 a.m.
But are you flying Sunday beginner? Is right?
Well, I can hardly hear you. I got my exhaust fan going on, and I'm getting real close to the speaker now. Say that again.
Beginner on Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So practice is Saturday. Yeah, I got it up all the highest I can go in volume.
Okay.
You'll have it all trimmed out and already flown it before the Nats, though, won't you?
Oh well, hell yeah! If
Yeah.
I don't get it, I plan on flying it. What is today? The 25th. Hopefully, I'll wait another week. I'll put. I only have panel lines to go on, and all the insignias are decals this time instead of paint, so that really helps. So I'm hoping to get it up in the air within the next 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting that Byron Parker 46 LA on it.
Oh, okay. That should work well.
Hoping. If not, I got another LA that is just a phenomenal 4.2 run, which both me and my buddy can't figure out how come that engine's the best. Because we got all 46 LAs, all of us, or me and him do, and this one LA 46 that I got, it doesn't matter what, one flip, one start, I never have to touch the needle valve, and man, it's like a perfect 4.2 run.
Well, Tom, we'll see you there on Sunday. Sam will be flying intermediate, but you'll be on a circle right next to us.
Yep.
Yep. Beginner.
Yeah.
Somebody can get some cameras on you guys.
What's wrong?
I might be able to work that out. I don't know. I don't have anyone to work a camera.
It's hard to worry about that when you're trying to concentrate on flying. I know. So
Well,
if you can, you can't.
Sparky usually takes videos and stuff.
I do a lot of Facebook Live on the Control Line Flying site, and I know Sparky ain't gonna like that, but the Control Line Flying site on Facebook, I streamed the last 2 years at Brodax. I was streaming shit all day long.
I know you did. I was on you. I was following you.
So, right.
Yeah, that was cool. I wish you'd do that. I wish you'd do that to the Nats.
I will. I did it at the Nats last year when I was flying my jet and all the combat events that Sam and I were flying, and at Brodax. And I do it from wherever I'm at because it's so easy to do, man. With a smartphone, you go on Facebook and you go live in whatever group, and you just point your camera at whatever's going on, and it ends up on the internet. It's there, versus shooting video, uploading it to YouTube, editing it, and then putting it on Stunthangar, it's all a pain in the ass, man. You got to shoot the video, upload it to YouTube, edit it, and then post a link. Versus, I can take my phone and push 2 buttons and be streaming live on Facebook in a Control Line Flying group, it's simple, It's too easy to do. It's easier than shooting video, uploading it, and then posting a link, I know Sparky hates Facebook. He can't stand it. But if I could post streaming video live to Stunthangar, I would do it. But I can't do it. It takes 3 or 4 more steps to put a video on Stunthangar than it does to Facebook. So
I gotta go, guys. I gotta work.
Catch you later, Steve.
We'll see you Friday.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Have
a good week.
Flying Wednesday. They flew Sunday. I got out there late because I had to work Sunday. But if it's decent Wednesday night, I'm gonna go flying Wednesday night. So,
what are you going flying? RC, right?
No, Control Line.
You're gonna fly Control Line?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you got new eyes. Maybe you can tune up your game a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how it works. Probably not, but it's like last year. I don't know how many times I flew, but I didn't fly RC once last year.
Are you going to compete at Brodax this year?
They want me to, but I don't know if I will or not.
I want you to. Come on, Steve.
Every time, yeah, I wonder if I want to do it. Whenever I do it, I'm glad I did. I'm always glad I did after I do it. So
Come
yeah,
on, Steve.
I
I
took
want to see you in this circle.
I took 6th place that one year, and Samantha tells everybody I took last. So if I even do
I
worse
know.
than that,
Are you an advanced flyer or an expert flyer?
beginner.
Beginner.
I've only flown one contest in control line, and that
That's
was at
right.
the Nats in 2011.
can you fly inverted
Yeah, I can fly inverted.
and outside loops? You should be able to remember the pattern. You like Mike, hold a piece of paper while you fly and look at it.
I've
I
done
still do.
I've done everything but the clover, the hourglass, and the square eights.
Okay. Well, then you should fly beginner, Steve, at Brodax. You should fly it. Because look, Samuel's going to be an intermediate, so you don't have to worry about him whooping up on your ass in beginner. He's already moved up. I'm busting your chops, man.
We'll see how I feel and if the operation on my eyes worked, because I went from being able to do that to being able to do nothing hardly, looping right into the ground. It's like I never knew where the airplane was at, and I got that inner ear infection, and every time I tipped my head up, I'd lose my balance, and it was horrible.
I can't look up either, so I'm going to be trying to fly without looking up.
But we'll see how it goes this year, you know.
How do you do that?
Well,
Go wing over.
maybe RC is probably better for you than control line. If you can't look behind you and your eyes are giving you trouble, RC is probably a little easier than doing control line.
I could hardly fly RC because of that. Just flying and moving my head up, it would totally screw me up. I'd lose where my airplane was at.
It would vex you.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I really got to be to where I could still fly, but I had to concentrate so hard. It was like I was telling my brother, it's painful for my brain to fly. It took so much thought, so much concentration, and I don't know, losing my balance or knowing where the airplane was at and stuff. It was just really hard.
Then you need an FPV drone, man. You need a first person view drone so you can look in the camera. Then you can still fly some RC stuff. That's what you need is a drone.
I'll put it on a control line airplane.
There you go. Put a camera on a control line plane and do FPV that way.
We'll see. We'll see how I fly this year. You know, I don't know. It's like it doesn't bother me to do one loop, inside, outside, whatever. It's doing 3. Usually the second or the third one hits the ground.
That's because you're trying to hold full up. You need to let off and climb high, make sure you're all the way up again, and then add some up as you come around, but let off and let it climb.
Yep.
I just fly bigger.
You don't full up every time. The loops get bigger every time. So you can't do that.
Yeah. But
yep.
Don't know where the ground's at anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
that's rough, brother.
You'll know pretty soon after the first loop.
Yeah, you know, Samantha and I both started flying at the same time, and I could outfly her for a while. And then she passed me, and then I went backwards and got to be to where I couldn't fly.
She's got age working for her, and you've got age working against you.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man.
But I got that inner ear infection. That was my brother got it also. He ended up crashing at the net. He could fly the full pattern. he hadn't put them all. He could do all the maneuvers and stuff, and he went to fly beginner at the Nats and planted his airplane.
Is your brother younger than you or older than you?
3 years younger, but he got to where for 2 years he couldn't fly either. But he's back flying again now. He says it doesn't bother him, but what vertigo, that ear infection, whatever virus was going around was giving people vertigo, and we both got it. I don't know if I had it first. I may have given it to him. Who knows? But it was a hard thing for both of us for a while. But my brother flew last year. He was flying good again. So, but he does speed, control line speed. So he doesn't fly much stunt, but he can if he wants to.
Okay, dudes, I got to wrap it up tonight, but it's been a pretty good show.
Take it easy.
Decent YouTube class. Oh, Pat just posted. See, have they ever made a field where the center is higher, like a pitcher's mound, so the ground isn't so close? Yeah, you'd fall over that probably.
Oh man, I would fall. I would tumble down like rolling. I'd be tucking and rolling.
Of course, if you had a big hump in the middle with a flat top on it that was about 5 feet around, you could do it. But no, I don't think that's going to work out for you.
No.
I mean, no, a perfect circle would be a higher center pad.
A dome.
It should be 2 or 3 inches lower at the edge of the circle so that all the water rolls off.
Yeah.
But I mean, a very slight grade from where you're flying.
Yeah, triple trees are slightly graded, probably, I think.
Well, he can probably hear us. Maybe I'll get a step ladder and go out there and fly off the step ladder. That way I won't hit the ground.
Oh, this is something I forgot to tell y'all. Pat says he's moving over to his TV where his plastic building is. He's built thousands of plastic models, static models. He likes building those. That's what I loved to do when I was a kid, too.
He's got to come to Grand Rapids, Michigan. They still have a plastic model building contest every year at the hobby shop.
Oh, really? Is it a timed contest?
I don't know. I don't think it's timed. You just bring in whatever you built, and you can't believe a ship won last year. And
I used to build ships.
It was trying to think of it was Ironsides or whatever it was, but God, was that beautiful.
Yeah. Them ships, I got a buddy of mine that's building the Constitution, and he was like having problems tying the knots around the pulleys because his fingers are so big and this is so small.
Hemostats are good for that.
Yeah, I helped him. I hooked him up. There's all kinds of different gadgets to get for that.
Yeah. I'd like to build a ship or a plane in a bottle.
Yeah, the ship won, but there was a guy who built a was it the Snowman, the old dragster? Gene Snow Snowman. Remember the funny car?
Minnesota Mike?
I don't know, it was Minnesota Mike. It was Gene Snow, the Snowman. You know, they had Mongoose and Snake and all that kind of stuff. And that was really well done, too. And I think he took second. But yeah, all kinds of plastic models. They have it every year. They have a lot of
plastic Mustang.
They have a lot of guys, 50, 60 guys will go in and build for this contest. So
I think some of those plastic model things are really cool, and neat to look at. But if I'm going to spend my time building something, I want it to fly in the air or shoot off a rocket pad, or
it's got to have a motor.
It's got to have.
I bought a sack full of foam. I built a sack full of foam planes that are just the perfect size to chop the nose off and put a TD01 on. And one of these days I'm gonna build a motor mount onto it and make one of those. It looks like it'd be fun. I can make it control.
It have power and go do something. I can't just sit and look at something. Spend all that time for something that's just sit there to look at.
Then
Yeah,
but then you have it forever. I mean, my brother.
yeah. It was when I learned about airplanes that really fly that I quit building static models and
But my brother, he was in
went to
models
building
when he was a
regular.
kid, and he had a hell of a collection. And I mean, people, even my friends would come over. I'd take him in and show them the models he built, and they're like, "Oh my god!" You know that he built like the Mummy and this kind of stuff, and he'd actually paint he'd take a brush with one hair in it to do eyebrows and stuff like that.
Dude, I had the Mummy, I had Frankenstein, I had the werewolf, I had all.
You have the creature from the Black Lagoon.
All those.
Yeah.
I built all of them, but so there's something to be said with the time you spend doing it, and you're doing something constructive and you have it when it's done, but all you can do is look at it when it's finished.
Yeah.
I want to go tear it up, man. I want it to be under some kind of power and go wreck it.
Yeah.
You know? I want it to move when it's done, not just stare at it.
And my planes, they wear their scars like a badge, a badge of honor. So.
Yeah.
But my brother's built Japanese battleships and just about every World War II airplane. And
I have the Apollo 11 capsule.
That's awesome.
It's still in the box. One of these days, I'm going to put that together because I love Apollo shit. Models.
The Lindbergh models were not bad. The boats that were electrified, the Lindbergh boats that were electrified, that had electric motors.
Yeah. You remember when Estes made the Saturn V rocket?
My dad built one.
It was about 6 foot tall.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a model.
So
yeah, maybe they'll make a Falcon Heavy.
Yeah, this Apollo 11 capsule, it's got its own little stand that you put together. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably 8-10 inches in diameter. The base of it.
So our rocket club we had took like 2 years, and they built the Saturn V. And I lived so far from school because I lived in a different city than the school I went to. They butted up, but I was a long ways from school. So, but when they went to launch it, I don't know, I taught my mom and dad to come pick me up, or I got a ride or something. So they put this thing on there. They're counting down. They hit the button. A big gust of wind knocked the rocket over.
Oh.
It takes off across the ground, goes out through this field and everything, hits the backstop fence for the baseball field. And what I thought was hilarious, the whole deal crushed in on itself, and at the end it went poop, and it popped the parachute out on the other side of the fence.
Wow.
But that whole Saturn V rocket was just destroyed after all that work. And I mean,
that boat's a remote control, I bet. I see a switch, a power switch of some sort, isn't it?
It is. Rusty, you want to present?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Let me get the arrow on it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Even
So this is the only plastic model that I still have. And my dad built this in 1982. This is the PT 109.
Kennedy's.
The Kennedy boat. This was I believe it was a Lindbergh kit that was set up for an electric motor. But my dad built this probably around.
Wasn't that what Gomer Pyle ran in there?
This is one of the last surviving plastic models that I have that my dad built.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was the kind that you set the rudder and it would go in a circle.
Yeah, it was. It was, but Dad set it up for RC, and I'll show you that. I'm just gonna. It's dusty. It's dusty. and but I still have it. I mean,
So I see the RC switch on it.
he painted all the little guys, guy with the binoculars looking out, and oh, we got a little dead guy.
Oh,
here.
is that a dead one?
Oh,
He's a dead guy.
No, I think he's a gun. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
he just
supposed
fell
to.
out of the chair.
Yeah, he just fell out of the chair. He's
The Navy guys drink a lot.
supposed to be sitting there. We got the lifeboat on the deck. This is the this is broken off from somewhere. I don't know. I think it goes up here somewhere or something like that. But you know, torpedo tubes, Dad painted and whatnot. And let's see. We take the top off. I don't want to break anything here. That's the radio antenna.
Probably ought to take that battery out of there.
Got electric motor in there.
Oh, look at that. It was a dual screw, huh?
Yeah, electric motor. And that's the way it came from Revell, right?
Oh, okay.
So it came with that electric motor to, yes, dual propeller.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Shit. Dual propeller and the rudders. And the way it was built, you're right. You just set the rudders to turn, and then you would just send it out in the water. But Dad converted it to RC. Oh, there's a little dead guy laying in here too.
That must be the mechanic down in the engine room.
Yeah. That probably looks realistic. Oh, he's losing it. He's missing his hand.
He looks like a cowboy or something. Or is that a flak jacket he's wearing, I guess?
Life jacket.
But all the RC gear is up in here. It's electric. But this is one of the last surviving plastic things that Dad ever built. He had do you remember the electric Chris Craft plastic model that was about the same size?
Yeah.
Chris Craft. It was a big cabin cruiser. It was white and brown and red. Plastic boat that came out sometime in the 60s. We had one of those as well. That one wasn't RC. It was just electric motor. You put a little rudder in it, and you'd send it out in the pond, and it would do big loops, and then eventually it would hit the shore at some point. You know.
Yeah, Chris was made like 20 miles from where I was a kid and grew up.
But yeah, there you go. There's a
plastic
bottle. But it at least did something. It was RC. You can throttle it and you could steer it, you know?
Probably really good with a pulse jet on it. That's what Pat said. I didn't think that up myself. Hey, guys, I gotta go hit the sack.
Yeah, me too. I gotta get going.
Everybody, thanks
right,
for coming. Great show tonight.
Bye.
Catch you guys later.
Let me stop Mike here. Okay, everybody, thanks for coming. You YouTubers, I appreciate your donations out there too. Big help. And so everybody have a great week, and we'll be back on Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right. Signing off in 3, 2, 1.